A lot of the big detectives had gathered evidence. Don't shake your head. A lot of big detectives gathered evidence. Jeez, man.
A fascinating day of testimony between a Hollywood producer and the defense attorney in the Tupac murder trial. You are watching coverage wall-to-wall of the Tupac murder trial, the trial of Duane Keffe D. Davis, who was accused of orchestrating the murder of the rap icon. And yesterday, a Hollywood producer named Michael Dorsey testified for a good portion of the day. The jury heard hours and hours of audio recordings of an interview that was conducted in 2017. And that producer had somehow, during the conducting of that interview, taped a portion of it or a good portion of it and decided to take it public in some way. And it started off early in the morning. Yesterday, attorneys argued with each other about evidence related to Duane Davis, Keffe D's criminal past. And it got a little bit contentious, and the judge got involved. And ultimately, the attorneys were able to work together to figure something out. They gave the judge what they called a limiting instruction in order to have the judge read that to law enforcement or to the jury before a law enforcement witness testified, in order to say, this is why we're discussing some, let's say, convictions or criminal incidents that involve Keffe D, the defendant, Duane Davis, on trial for orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur, which happened in 1996 here in Las Vegas. And now, in downtown Las Vegas, the epicenter of the legal community is watching. So after the attorneys argued and agreed with the judge on how to proceed, the defense attorney brought on this witness, Michael Dorsey, the Hollywood producer, a filmmaker who had done one film on Keffe D based on the Detective Kading's book, one of the detectives who covered some of this stuff, called Murder Rap. And then this Hollywood producer, Michael Dorsey, went on to consult in a production with the BET on Death Row Records, which plays a huge part in this role. Suge Knight owned Death Row Records, and at some point we learned from testimony it was worth $300 to $500 million a year, or total. That's Suge right there. And so Hollywood, drugs, gangs, all intersect here at this point. And this producer went on to the stand for the defense attorney in the morning to ask him some questions outside of the presence of the jury. And if that, we didn't know it at the time, but it was a good appetizer of what was to come later. And that morning episode is not here. However, to give you a sense of how it went throughout the entire day, our talented photographer, photojournalist, award-winning investigative photojournalist, Christine Ernesto, did a montage of this entire exchange throughout the course of the day with Michael Sanford, the defense attorney, and this Hollywood producer that you saw at the top of our show, and that is letter H.
Well, I'm not just talking about Greg Kading. I'm talking about every detective that came before.
Question,
I am. You're trying to phrase it in a certain way. Not just Greg Kading. It's not just his files.
What detectives are you talking about before Greg Kading?
Sure. A lot of the big detectives had gathered evidence. Don't shake your head. A lot of big detectives gathered evidence. Jeez, man.
One of the things he does is he steals the Tupac file.
I object to the word steals.
I'm sorry, he borrows.
I don't mean in like a legal sense I object to it. Just as a person, I object to it. A lot of the questions you're asking me right now, I know are based off conspiracy theories out there about alternate theories of this. And I just would wonder if you have any evidence of that you would base your question on.
Mr.
Or if you're
Dorsey,
just using questioning of me.
you can't ask him questions. He asks you questions.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just wondering.
Let's just do it by the book.
Can you just wait until I'm done with my questions, sir?
Can you stop saying that to me, man? Jeez, dude. Just having a normal conversation with you. You don't have to keep cutting me off and making me sound like I'm eager.
And when you said you did the research, what research did you do to verify? Wait, let me finish, sir. It's all right. You're eager. I get it. What did you?
Can you please stop badgering me, man?
Okay.
It's ridiculous. I'm trying to be very respectful to you, sir, and I would really appreciate if you would be
There's no question pending for you. Hey, I got it. I think based on the testimony.
Kearney stepping in after quite a few of those ridiculous episodes between the defense attorney and the witness, Michael Dorsey, a Hollywood producer. And so I was saying to you that this began early in the morning outside the presence of the jury with a contentious exchange that I said would give an appetizer. So you got to see all of the ridiculous moments. But in order to set the stage a little bit, Michael Dorsey argues that he didn't need any permission to record this and really talked down to the defense attorney in explaining such. B.
Now, after you had recorded what you did in this case, which is the entire thing,
Correct.
you never had his permission to record all of it, right?
I didn't need his permission.
Why?
Because he's there to be recorded. He's got mics on him. He has lights and a camera pointed at him. He's in a production studio. I'm officially hired on as a crew member. I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
No. Let's back up here to make sure I'm clear.
Sure.
You're a crew member, but you don't own the rights to the production itself, right?
Correct.
And you don't own the rights in terms of what the camera angles are or anything along those lines.
That's correct. I could not put this on YouTube and profit from it.
Okay, well, back up here again. I want to make sure I'm clear. Did you take that audio recording that you made and give it to either Entertainment One or any of the subsidiaries in this case?
No.
Okay, so you basically took something that you didn't have permission to take.
That's not true.
Okay, well, back up here. Tell me who you got permission from.
I didn't need permission. Do you understand? There's no permission needed for that. I'm there to do it. I made the recording because he showed up for the first interview, not ready for his interview to be conducted. So I knew it was going to be broken up into 2 days. So I said, I'm going to make a recording of this so that I can make sure we ask the correct follow-up questions when we come back. That's the only reason I made this recording.
So it sounds like that witness, Michael Dorsey, speaking about Tupac's 2-day interview in 2017 with the documentary film crew for BET. And he says he didn't show up dressed appropriately, but I think they were worried he might not show up the next day, so they got what they could out of him on that day. They interviewed him the next day. It was lengthy. We'd heard various confessions or admissions to his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur in previous law enforcement interviews, where I think he thought he was under cover of a proffer, which says that basically he's not going to be, that the police are looking into things, and if he discusses his knowledge and his involvement, that he may not be held responsible for some of that. So he did these interviews with law enforcement in like 2008 era, and then 10 years later he does this interview with law enforcement, and the interviews were different, considerably different. And he talks at length to law enforcement about who was in the car, what he did with the gun, giving it to his nephew in the back seat who shot through the window at Tupac Shakur, the tremendously successful young rapper who was killed in his BMW, driven by Suge Knight at the corner of Flamingo and Koval here in Las Vegas in 1996. There you see the BMW ultimately riddled with bullets on one side. And a cold case detective testified that he found 7 casings on the ground, showed the jury in dramatic testimony each of those bullets or shell casings in a little vial. And those were fascinatingly detailed, seemingly candid interviews. Of course, now he pleaded guilty to murder and told our Vanessa Murphy in an exclusive interview she did one-on-one in a room with Duane Davis, the defendant, Keffe D, that he wasn't even in the state of Nevada. And so now we're seeing some different versions. His book, Keffe D's book, Compton Legend, was introduced yesterday into evidence. The attorney and that witness were going through some of it, saying, what about this person? Can you explain who that is? Can you explain this chain of events? And so now we have into evidence a handful or more of different and differing versions of events of that night in September of 1996, told by only one person so far, Keffe D himself. And, it strikes me that as we're now into the second week of testimony, that we don't have any direct evidence tying Keffe D, Duane Davis to the murder. We have a lot. He told people a lot of specific things, law enforcement, his own book, and so forth, many details, but apparently, at least from what we've seen so far, none were able to have been proven by law enforcement. And Keffe D, in his own words, in his own book, says, I'm the only living witness to the murder of Tupac Shakur. Of course, Suge Knight was driving and he's still alive. He's in prison. But the other people in the car, most of the other people who would have any relation, have died. Even Keffe D's nephew, who he says pulled the trigger in the back seat of what may be a white Cadillac that they had rented during their time here in Las Vegas, is dead. He was killed in a shootout, and he was also at the center of the big fight after the Mike Tyson fight in the MGM casino, on the let out of that Mike Tyson fight, when he got beat down and kicked by what testimony says were, somewhere around 20 Death Row Records security guards, and Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records, and Tupac Shakur in a gold shirt. You could see all of them stomping this Orlando Anderson in a Dan Marino jersey back then, right after the Tyson fight. You can see that right there. And if you watch closely, Tupac Shakur's in a gold shirt, and he just gets on the pile. And afterwards, one motive that the prosecutors are trying to put through in their theory of the case is that that's the motive for this fight, is the motive for the murder, that Duane Davis and his entourage, or his group, were so upset that they did this to Orlando Anderson, that they separated his shoulder, that he was a young man, that he didn't deserve that, and that there was only one way to go about handling this. So that's where we get these admissions. And in the first admission from around 2008 that we heard, detectives were looking into the murder of another famous rapper, Biggie Smalls. And Biggie was murdered, and Keffe D's name came up quite a bit in those investigations. And at one point, someone sued the LAPD to say that they thought that Biggie's murder was the result of the work of the LAPD itself. And so in that lawsuit, detectives went looking to see what they could find. And Keffe D's name had come up. They interviewed Keffe D, and they said to Keffe D, what did you have to do, if anything, with the Biggie murder? And he said, we didn't do that one. We did the other one. And so they were shocked. They actually, the law enforcement on the stand said, we were shook. We couldn't believe it. And then they took him through time, and he confessed to his role in the involvement of the murder of Tupac Shakur. And now, of course, he's on trial for orchestrating that murder. And this is one of those confessions that he gave to law enforcement back about 20 years ago.
Oh, shit. Here they come in that BMW, like in your car, and brawls, Tupac. We like, there they go. Made a U-turn. We wasn't supposed to make it. Just wanted a U-turn. And they was in the middle lane. And we just pulled up on the side and checked every car to see where they was.
So what directed your attention to him was some girl shouting at Tupac?
Tupac! He gave himself away. Otherwise, they would have got away. He all hanging out. You know how he do. Oh, they go down to the finish. And we got him.
You did a U-turn, so then you pull alongside of it. You guys are in the car. Have you already handed Lane the gun at this point, or at what point do you hand him the gun?
I thought he was going to pull on my side. You know, that's my little nephew. I'm going to look out for him, you know. And he pulled on his side.
So you were fitting to blast if you had to, or you were just...
Yeah, if we would have been on my side, I would have blasted.
Okay. So you hand the gun to the back seat.
Yeah.
You can hear Lane.
I gave it to Dre, and Dre was like, no. And Lane's like, dude, pop it, dude.
So Lane is Orlando Anderson, baby Lane, his Keffe D's nephew, who no longer is alive, was killed in a shootout sometime after the Tupac Shakur murder here in Las Vegas in 1996. But if you listen to that, you hear he's naming names. He mentions Lane. He mentions Dre. He mentions that if he was in the front seat, if Tupac was on his side of the car while Keffe D was in the passenger seat, he himself would have shot Tupac Shakur. And he goes on to describe all sorts of detail that Suge Knight seems to have taken some shrapnel. I don't think it was terribly serious. He was treated and released. But Tupac Shakur, he said, was trying to dive into the back seat to avoid his ultimate death, and didn't make it to the back seat. And not only names names, but names details, gives himself up in the sense that he says he's the one who put the gun in the back seat for someone to actually shoot the rap icon who's looking at us there from his last photo ever taken. And we've covered that story as well here on 8 News Now. James Schaefer, our reporter, did such a fantastic job interviewing the photographer who 30 years ago clipped that just moments before he heard a pop, pop, pop. And we know from cold case police testimony that there were 7 shell casings on the ground. But I want to contrast that specific admission to law enforcement that we heard last week with what we heard yesterday, 10 years later, less giving story from Keffe D about the murder of Tupac Shakur in letter E.
One last time. You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
The keeper for the code of the streets. It just came from the back seat, bro.
So can you just tell me it was either one or the other?
Can't tell you that. It was in the back seat.
this is not. Wayne, this is not something that we don't know already. You told me who was seated in the back, and you're saying the shots came from the back. So I'm asking you to tell me, in your own words, it either was one or the other.
I don't know who it was. It just came from the back seat.
They're both dead.
Yeah.
What's your concern?
What's my concern?
Yeah. Honestly, just...
Right now, I just want the Lord is protecting me, so I really don't have no concern. I'm in the hands of the Lord. Yeah. All my people is religious.
No, you're concerned in revealing who shot Tupac.
What's my concern?
Yeah.
I don't have no concern. I just want to be saying I'm no fucking rat running around like that, dude.
So this is about your code, right? This is about...
Yes.
Can you tell me that?
Yeah. Oh, this is about the code. I'm saying it came from the back seat on, I'm tired of everybody trying to extort money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just out for the money, being greedy. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of bullshit. You know?
Okay.
Soliciting us. They've been soliciting us for years, man.
So you can see that an originally chatty Keffe D in 2008 era, when he was talking with police in a couple of interviews, FBI, law enforcement, turned into cagey Keffe 10 years later when he talked with the filmmaker Mario Diaz, the showrunner for this BET program on the fall of Death Row Records, owned by Suge Knight, who was in the car with Tupac Shakur the night of the murder here in Las Vegas in 1996. And, here he says in the police interviews, Orlando shot it. I would have shot him. Dre was in the car. This was what we did. This is what happened. This is why we made the U-turn. If Tupac wasn't hanging out the car talking with his fans, we never would have seen him because they had originally gone looking for him and had actually given up their search and went to a liquor store, and boom, the next thing they know, there he is. And that's what he said in his book. That's what he says happened. And that's what he says happened in law enforcement. And then when this filmmaker, Mario Diaz, testified last week, he said in the interview, well, who killed Tupac? And he goes, I'm going to go by the code of the street. And then he says, I'm no rat, and use colorful language. And I'm not saying he is a rat, because I don't know what's true and what's not true, who he was giving the true story to, because, of course, there's a completely different story in his interview with Vanessa Murphy that he did exclusively with her, 40 minutes of one-on-one inside the Clark County Detention Center. But so there are various and differing versions of events. One thing we know as we look at the night of and where those shell casings were found on the street, and this was the cold case Metro detective who revealed to the jury 7 vials, each containing a shell casing, that Keffe D, has a lot to say to a lot of people. But we have not seen anybody to come and say that they saw Keffe D there, that they saw the car he claims to have been driving, that, we've seen, I believe, if not hours, close to hours of that video from the MGM the night after the Tyson fight, where witnesses have identified as many people as they could in that MGM argument, fight, beatdown of Orlando Anderson. And never do we see Keffe D strolling through the lobby. We don't see him, there are clearly a lot of camera angles, perhaps not as many as today. Everything you do in Las Vegas now, you're on camera. But these are pretty good videos, and they cover a good amount of the lobby. And at some point, I would imagine someone needs to ask the question, do you ever see Keffe D in the MGM during this time period? Of course, this fight was something that led up to the shooting, and it was as a result of, among other things, a fight that had happened previously in California at the Lakewood Mall, where some rival gang members met, and Orlando Anderson was in the room. Baby Lane, Keffe D's nephew, was in the mall and argued, and apparently somebody is said to have snatched a chain off of a Death Row Records person, a Death Row Records chain, snatched it off, and that led to, when they saw Orlando Anderson, when the rival gang members saw Orlando Anderson in the MGM, they said, let's get him, he disrespected us. And if you believe that whole chain of events, that the chain pull led to the fight at MGM, led to the death of Tupac Shakur, it's mystifying to think that that all this over a chain. And in fact, Mario Diaz, the filmmaker, mentioned that and refers to it in this television interview as a stupid necklace that the jury heard audio recordings of yesterday in soundbite F.
The way I understand it,
Tupac had a hot head and just, trying to take off somebody, trying to be a gangster. I don't know. I guess he got a hot head for a crazy dude.
well, he claims that the stupid necklace, that's the guy who grabbed the necklace off of his friend.
Yeah. That little $300 necklace. Yeah.
I know, it's funny, right? Like, this shit is all over. About a stupid necklace,
Yeah.
People die.
So,
what happened after that?
what happened after that?
Yeah.
Shit, went to the parking lot. Got on cars. And, had a little meeting. And the homie said they gonna have a concert at the 662 Club. So I was just gonna confront him and ask him why would he jump on my nephew. You know what I'm saying?
So he called it the stupid necklace, and Keffe D agreed, and that could be the motive for ultimately the murder of Tupac Shakur. And we heard from as we enter day 7 into trial, we've heard a good bit of the prosecution's theory as they build it day by day to this jury of 16 people, 6 men and 10 women, 12 of whom will be deliberating the case, and 4 of whom will be alternates. And in that, we heard from Devontae Lee, a confessed gang member and alleged law enforcement mole, who was at the mall the night of the shooting by his own testimony. He was fascinating. He was not there at trial by his own will. The prosecution compelled him to be there, and he came in and he talked about that fight at the mall in this soundbite here.
You were there with other Southside Crip members, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And was Orlando Anderson one of the people that were with you?
Yes, Orlando was with us.
Okay. And then did you happen to run in that day into people from Mob Piru or Death Row Records?
Yes, we did.
Can you tell us about that?
We basically were coming from different sides of the mall, and we're, walking towards each other. And I guess we basically seen each other simultaneously. You know what I mean? And we noticed people. They noticed us. They kept, coming our way. We kept coming that way. And a couple of words was exchanged once it got close enough. You know what I mean? And that's when the fight broke out.
So a fight broke out?
Yeah.
And by that, we're talking about people punching each other and tackling each other. That type of thing.
Yeah.
On the other side, Were you aware of somebody by the name of Trayvon Lane there?
I was aware of Trayvon, yeah.
And in particular, there's talk about a death row chain or medallion hanging from Trayvon Lane's neck. Did you see that?
Yeah, did I see the chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen the chain.
Okay. During the fight, did anything happen to that chain?
Yeah, during the the brawl, it came off his neck.
Now, let me ask you something about the significance of a chain or something like that. Is there any special significance to taking somebody's chain?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, yeah.
Can you explain that?
I mean, that was their logo, and so it's like you taking that from them is, like you got something, to at least harp about or to say, hey, look, I took this. That's all it would be.
Would it be considered disrespectful to rip somebody's chain off?
Yes.
How did that brawl end? Like what made you guys stop fighting?
Well, the police came. You know what I mean? The police came, separated the parties. They didn't even try to talk to nobody or nothing. They just wanted to get the situation under control. Everybody just, leave. Just get out of there. So that's what they did. They came in, they separated us basically. We went our way, they went their way.
Devontae Lee, who was a alleged law enforcement mole who says he was in one of these rival gangs and a mole for law enforcement. At the time, he was at the mall. Ultimately, he, I believe, did some time and testified against his own will for prosecutors. And there you heard questioning where he described the significance of the chain and the chain of events that led to someone taking a Death Row Records chain. And there is a photo of one of those Death Row Records chains in the evidence of the grand jury that ultimately indicted Duane Keffe D. Davis on trial for orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur. We are now in the second day of the second week of testimony, day 7. Day 6 was fascinating. Day 6 showed defense attorney Michael Sanft and a Hollywood filmmaker, Michael Dorsey, a documentarian who had done one project on Keffe D already called Murder Rap, which was a book based on one of these detectives' case files, a man named Greg Kading, a detective who I'm hoping we hear from during testimony in this trial. He seems to have thinks he has the goods on Keffe D, and I believe if you listen to the exclusive interview with Vanessa Murphy that Keffe D did on the eve of trial, I don't think, like many witnesses, there's a lot of love lost between Keffe D and Greg Kading. So this filmmaker does the original project, Murder Rap. He's hired as a consultant in a project with Black Entertainment Television that had to do with the fall of Death Row Records, which at one point we learned from testimony by Reggie Wright Jr., the one-time head of security for Suge Knight, and ultimately the de facto head of Death Row Records for Suge Knight when he went to prison, was, by his own testimony, a $300 to $500 million operation in its heyday. And there's Suge there with Tupac Shakur, guys whose names we hear repeatedly through this case. And Suge Knight has told the national media that he doesn't plan on testifying, and if he does, he's going to make it terrible for the side that brings him in. Before we do anything, I'd like to give you all a little sense of yesterday's trial by playing the Instagram or social media report provided by our 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy, who was in the courtroom every day of trial and provides live reports for us at 4, 5, 6, and 11 on 8 News Now with Brian Loftus and Denise Valdez, and joins us every night for our 7 p.m. recap show here on 8 News Plus. Let's watch Vanessa.
Day 6 in the trial of Duane Keffe D. Davis. He's accused in the killing of rap icon Tupac Shakur. He died after a drive-by shooting here in Las Vegas in 1996. So today brought a lot of fireworks between a witness and defense attorney Michael Samft. The witness is Mike Dorsey. He says he has true crime experience. He says he's a documentarian. He says he worked as a consultant for Death Row Chronicles. Davis did paid interviews for Death Row Chronicles. Dorsey recorded audio from those interviews aside from the regular TV production. Michael Samft questioned him about that. Dorsey also took information to Las Vegas Metro Police, was in contact with the detective, keeping him posted about when Keffe D would do interviews. And there was a lot of clashing between these two. Michael Samft saying, "You're not law enforcement, right?" Or, "How much did you fact check your work and your information? And did you have permission to do those recordings?" So the witness was certainly under scrutiny from Michael Samft. It is clear he did not appreciate that. They went back and forth. The judge did not intervene every time, which is interesting. It got to the point where one juror sort of like laughed and clapped, and it was a little bit out of control for a few seconds. So again, interesting. The witness, Mike Dorsey, also mentioned he objected, and he tried to sort of go back to Michael Samft of like, "Well, did you check your information?" You can't do that. Typically, you just have to answer questions on the stand from the attorney. So again, it was interesting. The audio that they played was also interesting. You know, Keffe D had a different story from other versions of that story he's previously told, right? So previously, the white Cadillac, he said, "Oh, well, it was rented and I don't really know what happened." This time he's like, "Oh, we painted the white Cadillac," or "Someone painted the white Cadillac." So there's a lot of inconsistencies, right? Could that work for him, that he's sharing this story and it keeps changing and he's getting paid for some interviews? And did he have certain deals with law enforcement for other interviews? So anyway, it was an interesting day. I will post my reports shortly.
As you look at the Great Seal of the State of Nevada, live pictures from inside the Regional Justice Center, 12th floor courtroom of Judge Carly Kearney, I want to follow up on some of what Vanessa had to say there. Michael Dorsey, some of that witness testimony was astonishing. And it started early in the day where Michael Samft had a chance before his cross-examination, even outside of earshot of the jury, to ask how he ended up with these recordings and whether he needed permission. Vanessa makes some mention of that, and it was a fascinating exchange that should have given the jury a sense of what was to come in Soundbite B.
Now, after you had recorded what you did in this
Yes.
case, which is the entire thing,
Correct.
you never had his permission to record all of it, right?
I didn't need his permission
Why?
because he's there to be recorded. He's got mics on him. He has lights and a camera pointed at him. He's in a production studio. I'm officially hired on as a crew member. I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
No.
And-
Let's back up here to make sure I'm clear.
Sure.
You're a crew member, but you don't own the rights to the production itself, right?
Correct.
And you don't own the rights in terms of what the camera angles are or anything along those lines.
That's correct. I could
Now-
not put this on YouTube and profit from it.
Okay, well, back up here again. I want to make sure I'm clear. Did you take that audio recording that you made and give it to either Entertainment One or any of the subsidiaries in this case?
No,
Okay, so you basically took something that you didn't have permission to take.
that's not true.
Okay, well, back up here. Tell me who you got permission from.
I didn't need permission. Do you understand? There's no permission needed for that. I'm there to do it. I made the recording because he showed up for the first interview, not ready for his interview to be conducted. So I knew it was going to be broken up into 2 days. So I said, I'm going to make a recording of this so that I can make sure we ask the correct follow-up questions when we come back. That's the only reason I made this recording.
One of more than a handful of awkward moments between the defense attorney, Michael Samft, who you're looking at, and prosecution witness Michael Dorsey, a documentarian. cringe, as you young viewers on 8 News Plus, our stream, might say. And it went on and on and on. And Vanessa also mentioned a point where he tells him, "Don't shake your head at me," which was a long, awkward, inappropriate exchange by this witness towards the defense attorney. And with no further ado, let's listen to that in letter G.
Talking about he's going on YouTube, he's going on Vlad TV. He went on, I think he ended up doing a total of 9 interviews on YouTube over a 4-year period.
Did you verify any of the information that he gave you?
What do you mean?
Well, the information that you learned in this case, right?
Who gave me?
Well, the information that you learned from either the listing of the 2008 proffer or in the interview with Mr. Davis. Did you go out and conduct your own investigation to verify the information?
Sure, I went through, well, again, I had unfettered access to the case files, and there's lots of corroborating evidence in those case files.
Now, when you say the case files, and I want to make sure I'm clear here.
Sure.
You're talking about Greg Kading.
Yes.
And you're talking about Greg Kading, who's former LAPD.
Well, I'm not just talking about Greg Kading. I'm talking about every detective that came before him.
Question,
I am. You're trying to phrase it in a certain way. Not just Greg Kading. It's not just his files. In fact, the majority of them are from detectives that came before him, including Las Vegas police files.
All right. What detectives are you talking about before Greg Kading?
Sure. A lot of the biggie detectives had gathered evidence. Don't shake your head. A lot of biggie detectives gathered evidence. Jeez, man. A lot of biggie detectives that gathered evidence that pertained to the Tupac case, because the 2 cases it became known or believed were connected.
Michael Dorsey, Hollywood documentarian, somewhat of an expert, did 2 different projects. One, his own project, another consulting with BET, Black Entertainment Television, on the Keffe D alleged murder of the rap icon Tupac Shakur here in Las Vegas in 1996. So now you've seen 2 lengthier clips of that, what I think is astonishing, slightly disrespectful testimony. We heard a little bit from the judge towards the end because it got a little out of control. There was some laughter in the courtroom. I thought all in all it was inappropriate. Look, Vanessa and I in our 7 p.m. show last night with Sasha Loftus here on 8 News Plus, wrapping up the day's events. You have to remember that someone is dead. A young man died. His family is in the courtroom. And that's not to say that there can't be a moment of levity, but it's serious stuff. And the attorneys have to have a certain amount of decorum and respect for the process and each other and the witnesses. And by the same token, the witnesses have to have a certain amount of respect for the attorneys, the judge, and the system, the process, because it's not a free-for-all. And, I know that witness, Michael Dorsey, was capable of behaving because he did so for quite a long time under questioning from prosecutors. And then Michael Samft, the defense attorney, gets up and, suddenly he doesn't want to cooperate with straight answers. He wants to bicker and argue and try and control the questions or the way they're being given. And it's so astonishing, in fact, that our award-winning investigative photojournalist, Christina Ernesto, did a montage of the wild events of that testimony in Soundbite H.
Well, I'm not just talking about Greg Kading. I'm talking about every detective that came before him.
Question,
I am. You're trying to phrase it in a certain way. Not just Greg Kading. It's not just his files.
What detectives are you talking about before Greg Kading?
Sure. A lot of the biggie detectives had gathered evidence. Don't shake your head. A lot of biggie detectives gathered evidence. Jeez, man.
One of the things he does is he steals the Tupac file.
I object to the word steals.
I'm sorry, he borrowed.
I don't mean in like a legal sense I object to it. Just as a person I object to it. A lot of the questions you're asking me right now I know are based off conspiracy theories out there about alternate theories of this. And I just would wonder if you have any evidence of that you would base your question on.
Mr.
Or if
Dorsey,
you're just using questioning
you
of
can't
me.
ask him questions. He asks you questions.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just wondering.
Let's just do it by the book.
Can you just wait until I'm done with my questions, sir?
Can you stop saying that to me, man? Jeez, dude. Just having a normal conversation with you. You don't have to keep cutting me off and make me sound like I'm eager.
And when you said you did the research, what research did you do to verify? Wait, let me finish, sir. It's all right. You're eager. I get it. What did you? What,
Can you please stop badgering me, man? Like,
Okay.
it's ridiculous. I'm trying to be very respectful to you, sir, and I would really appreciate
Okay,
if you would be
there's
respectful.
no question
There's no
pending
question
for you.
pending.
Hey, I got it.
So finally, you hear there from Judge Carly Kearney, who, for my money, might have stepped in a little sooner to set that witness testimony back in line. And you see Vanessa Murphy there on the far left of our screen wearing red. She was in the courtroom. She provided a live report. One of my favorite lines is, he's just trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to be respectful to you, sir. It's I thought just the opposite. And there you're looking at video of Keffe D, Duane Davis, on trial for orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur. We are awaiting day 7 of testimony. That witness, Michael Dorsey, the documentarian who went round for round with Michael Sampt, the defense attorney, one of a couple of witnesses who were somewhat unhinged. You'll remember that we had testimony, from plenty of people, police witnesses who described either the investigation or the night of that murder in 1996 here in the streets of Las Vegas. We heard from lay witnesses, like the woman who said she was in the car behind Keffe D and Suge Knight, that her friend spoke with Suge Knight, that they were able to hear those gunshots and knew that they were behind the rap icon in those final moments of his life. Well, I should say at the time of the shooting. He died 6 days later here in Las Vegas, succumbing to his injuries. We heard from a medical examiner who discussed the path and injuries the bullets caused, ultimately fatal to Tupac Shakur, in tremendous detail. The jury seeing photos of that, Tupac's family walking out of the courtroom. Prior to that testimony, most of his family walking out of the courtroom. And then we heard from a cold case detective who described, gave a little primer into what is a cold case and how cold cases are ultimately determined to be cold and manufactured and investigated and why it gets reopened and all that stuff. And we heard from a man named Mob James, who was completely unhinged in a separate way, in a kind of a different way than the witness that we're talking about this morning, Michael Dorsey. And Mob James also, like other witnesses, was there against his own will. He did not want to be there. He did not, I think, want to give information to either lawyer that would impact negatively on Keffe D, even though it appears they were on rival gangs. And that head in the hands is sort of familiar. We've seen a lot of different reactions from Keffe D. Amazement, disbelief, fury at some point. He sneered at some. But Mob James was another unhinged lawyer and probably now in the top 2 most memorable witnesses. And we have his fascinating testimony, a clip right here.
I changed my life. I'm raising my grandkids, teaching them never to be like their papa. And here I am explaining to people what I used to be. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all. And you asking me questions that can hurt him. And like I told them, I'm trying to avoid to answer the questions that they might look at me and say, something is wrong.
Did you see who shot Tupac?
I told you no.
Correct. So outside of that question, right, the next question I'm asking you is, when you went back to Compton, was it like a Southside Crip shoots a Pyru Blood, and then a Pyru Blood shoots a Southside Crip? Is that the tension that we're talking about?
Do I answer this?
That's a straightforward question. It's a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Did you see that?
When I was a part of that, like I was a part of that. And I was, no, because you asking something that's gonna hurt this dude. And okay, let me stop.
And once again, I want to emphasize.
When we got back to Compton,
okay,
it was a gang war. People were getting hurt.
Okay.
People was being sought. People were looking for certain individuals from his neighborhood.
Okay.
as well they did mine. But Orlando, him, and certain other people were being salted because people wanted to kill them.
Sure.
They weren't the only one. It's his neighborhood in particular. But they were the main subjects of a gang war. They was in the middle, such as me.
So you're telling us that people back home somehow had some type of information that said that that guy, as a bunch of other people, were involved in what?
In the murder of Tupac.
The information that I'm asking about is the people that back home, you're saying were eyewitnesses to this?
How could people back home be eyewitness to something that happened in Vegas? No, that's not what I'm saying.
The people that were here in listen to my question, sir. The people that were here in Las Vegas, you're telling me were eyewitnesses to what happened and went back home. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, the people that was at 662.
Just answer my question, sir. Yes or no?
I can't answer that without a what you call it. You trying to tell me to say something that you're not going to understand. If you let me explain to you.
No, answer my question.
I'm not answering nothing. Talk to your lawyer, man. This dude is tripping.
Another combative several moments of testimony in the trial of Duane Davis, charged with orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur. Day 7 just about to begin as Keffe D, Duane Davis, inside the courtroom with his attorney. On the second day of the second week of testimony, Michael Samft there in the middle of your screen talking to his client spoke with 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy after court yesterday about all of the crazy testimony between him and the prosecution witness, Michael Dorsey, the Hollywood documentarian, and she asked him some other questions as well. Before we get to trial today, let's listen to that. N.
A lot of fireworks just happened with the witness, Mike Dorsey. What do you want to say about it?
Was there really fireworks? Sometimes witnesses, they want to promote an idea or an agenda. So I think that's what this witness was doing today. So I mean, it's typical. It happens. Sometimes you have a witness that doesn't necessarily answer the question completely the way you want. They ramble on, and so you have to deal with that. But I don't think it was that bad, quite honestly. So
about him kind of, at one point he said, "I object," or made a statement of that sort. I haven't seen a witness do that. It's rare.
You know what it is? I think on some level is that, people just react different ways on that stand. And, to me, it goes to credibility. Obviously, if you're testifying in a certain way, the jury will make that determination whether it's credible or not. And sometimes there's theatrics. I think it was completely unnecessary, but, hopefully the jury can see through it and see what the actual facts are that he provided.
How do you feel about the case today, day 6?
I don't know. I just keep looking at the next day. So I'm not really paying attention to the long game right now. I'm just preparing for each day as it's coming up.
Could we see Davis take the stand himself?
That's his decision. He'll make that decision when the court advises him of his rights to testify or not. At this particular point, I do not know what he wants to do about that.
So Michael Sam speaking with our Vanessa Murphy's in the courtroom, saying that all available seats inside that courtroom are full. As you look at Judge Carly Kearney presiding over the case, Nevada versus Duane Keffe D. Davis, day 7 of the Tupac murder trial. Tupac, the rap icon, accused of being shot and killed here in Las Vegas in 1996. You are watching streaming coverage of the entire trial on 8 News Plus. We will be here all day and then again at 7 p.m. to recap the day's events as the first witness of the day gets sworn in.
May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
First name Malcolm, MALCOLMGREENIDGE. That's my last name.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Greenidge. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Greenidge.
Good morning.
Sir, is it fair to say that you were initially resistant to attending court?
That is fair.
And in fact, we had to get a compelling order to get you to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And so you're here because a court in California ordered you to come here.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask you about somebody by the name of Tupac Shakur. Did you know Mr. Shakur?
I did.
How did you know him?
He was a childhood friend, a family member, big brother. mentor. The list goes on and on.
Is it also fair to say that you guys work professionally together?
We did.
Can you tell us about that?
I had a dream to be a rapper. Mr. Shakur saw something in me, and he agreed to, help me make that dream come true. So I was in a group called Outlaws.
And is it fair to say that the Outlaws produced a number of CDs with Mr. Shakur and outside of Mr. Shakur as well?
We did release an album with Mr. Shakur.
I'm going to direct your attention to the weekend of September 1996, specifically September 7th of 1996. Did you come out here to Las Vegas?
Yes, we did.
Why?
It was a Mike Tyson fight out here that we were supposed to attend, and then there was a party performance afterwards.
What vehicle did you come here in?
We came here in the Lexus. It was Kadada Jones's car.
And who was Kadada Jones to Tupac Shakur at that time?
Tupac's fiance at the time.
Did Tupac drive in with you, or did he drive separately?
He did. He drove with us.
In the same vehicle?
Yes.
Where were you staying?
Where did we stay?
Yeah.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah.
We stayed at the Luxor.
And did any other members of your rap group, the Outlaws, come as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Who came?
Two more of my childhood friends, Raphael Fuller and Katari Cox.
Did you end up going to the fight?
No.
Why?
Well, during that day, Tupac was gambling, enjoying Vegas. He made some money when we got back to the hotel. He said, we're going to go change. I'm going to call y'all when I'm ready. And we're going to go to the fight. And we never got that phone call.
So you ended up staying at the Luxor?
No.
What did you end up doing?
We ended up trying to meet up with Mr. Shakur. We knew where the fight was at, obviously. So when we didn't get the phone call, we just left to go, get with him.
Now, there's a video, which I'm sure you're familiar with, of the incident between Mr. Shakur and other members of his group that were at the fight and somebody by the name of Orlando Anderson. Were you there during any of that?
No.
Did you at some point leave the MGM and go back to the Luxor?
Yes. We never really made it into the MGM. As we were approaching the MGM, Tupac and Suge was coming out.
Okay. So, and then did you leave with Tupac and Suge and everybody that was leaving the MGM?
Correct.
Now, you had mentioned a concert or performance that was supposed to happen later that night. Was that at Club 662?
Yes.
At some point, do you leave to go to Club 662?
We do.
What vehicle did you go to Club 662 in?
The same car I drove to Vegas in.
And that was that Lexus?
Correct.
Was Tupac in the car with you then?
No.
What car was Tupac in?
Tupac was riding in the car with Suge Knight.
And who was Suge Knight to you? How did you know who Suge was?
He was the CEO of the label that Tupac Shakur was signed to.
And was that Death Row Records?
Correct.
Was there? Were you aware of there being more than two cars? Were there a number of cars headed towards Club 662?
There was a caravan of cars. How many? I don't know.
And position-wise, where were you relative to Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight's car?
Right behind him.
Now, I'm going to take you to the shooting. While you're stopped at the lights on Flamingo and Koval, does something happen?
Yes.
Do you notice a vehicle pull up next to Mr. Shakur or Mr. Knight's vehicle?
But yeah.
Can you tell us what you see?
We were at a light. Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight was talking to some young ladies. We couldn't hear what they was talking about. When those young ladies pulled off, another car pulled up and started shooting at Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight.
And do you recall what kind of car that was?
It was a light-colored white Cadillac.
And do you recall, was it a 2-door or 4-door?
It was a 4-door.
And when you saw the shooting, did somebody get out of the car and start shooting, or were they shooting from inside the vehicle?
The shots came from inside the vehicle.
And was it from the front or back seat?
It was from the back seat.
And did you see the arm or the gun or anything like that?
The arm and the gun attached to that arm.
And were you able to make an assessment of whether the person whose arm was out was white, Asian, Hispanic, or African American? In terms
From my vantage point, they appeared to be African American.
What's your reaction when you see the shots?
I'm horrified.
And I'm sorry, I don't think I asked this question. Who was in the Lexus with you at that point?
Security, Frank Alexander, Yafael Fula, and Katari Cox.
So, 2 of the fellow members of the Outlaws, and then a security guard named Frank Alexander.
Right.
What do you guys do in the immediate aftermath of the shooting?
We started to get out of the car to go check on Tupac. And, yeah, that's what we did.
Do all of you make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car?
No.
Does anybody make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car? What happens?
Shook pulled off, made a U-turn.
Or do you guys follow them, or do you drive off someplace else?
No, we followed them.
And that's why do you guys have to make a U-turn to follow them? Does Mr. Knight's car stop ultimately at an intersection?
It does.
What happened? Are you following him to that intersection?
We were.
What happens when you stop at that intersection?
We get out of the car to go check on Tupac.
And are you able to make it to Tupac's vehicle?
No.
Why not?
When we approached the car, Mr. Shakur said to me, get on the ground, they're gonna shoot you. And when I turned around, there was a shotgun in my face.
And who was holding the shotgun?
Police officer.
So what do you do?
I got on the ground.
Were you able to observe any of the injuries to Mr. Shakur at that time?
I could not see the injuries to Mr. Shakur.
Were you able to see any of the injuries to Mr. Knight?
His head appeared to be bleeding.
And how is it that you were able to see Mr. Knight's injuries?
Because he was out of the car asking for help for Tupac.
So then you're at basically the wrong end of a shotgun from a police officer and on the ground. How long are you in that situation for?
It seemed like forever.
Are you able to observe the events that are going around you?
I can hear.
And what do you see? Does medical ultimately arrive to help Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight? And are they transported away from the scene?
Right.
And then at some point, are you asked by police officers to give a statement?
I am.
And do you give a statement?
I do.
Okay. And do you, it's fair to say, or is it fair to say, that you weren't able to see the faces of the people in the Cadillac?
That's correct.
And so you couldn't identify who was there, who was in the car?
Silhouettes.
Okay. I'm gonna, Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm gonna show you what's been previously admitted as grand jury exhibit number 150. Do you recognize any of the folks in this picture?
I recognize 2 of them.
Okay, and there's a mouse there right next to you. Don't click on it, but if you can drag it to the people you recognize and tell us who they are.
That's me. That's Katari Cox.
And Katari Cox was one of the other artists who was part of your group.
Correct.
What's in there? One thing that that's come up, you've obviously in the 30 years of losing your friend and family member, Mr. Shakur, I'm sure you've been exposed to a lot of the rumors or innuendo associated with his passing. Is that fair to say?
I've heard it all.
Okay. One of the things is that Mr. Shakur was upset with the situation at death row. Have you heard that?
I have.
And was Mr. Shakur somebody that you had spent a lot of time with professionally and personally?
Correct.
Was he somebody that would tell you what his plans were and whether or not he was upset with his current situation or
He
not?
shared a lot.
Did he share with you what his plans were, professional plans were, proceeding from the release of the Machiavelli album?
He wanted to get his label started, Machiavelli Records. He wanted to put out the Outlaws album that we was working on. It was supposed to be distributed by Death Row Records. And he was in talks with Quincy Jones to do some business with Quincy.
So Mr. Shakur's plan was to imprint his own record company, but have it distributed by Death Row Records.
That's what he told us.
Seal pass witness.
Cross-examination, Mr. Samt.
Mr. Greenwich, thank you for being here today. Just with regards to the last thing the state had asked you, the work that Mr. Shakur was going to do with Quincy Jones, that involve Death Row Records?
No.
So it was work that he was going to do on his own, like maybe movies and a few other things with Quincy Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, and that's only just for the record. Now, in terms of the Death Row label, do you know whatever happened with that label? The business itself?
I think it's still going to this day.
And in terms of the label, do you know who's currently on it?
Do I know who's currently on it?
Yes, sir.
I do.
Yeah, at the time of when Tupac was killed, who was on the label at that particular point?
It was a lot of artists.
Well, give us the ones that you...
Snoop Dogg, The Dog Pound, Lady of Rage, Tupac, MC Hammer.
So, for instance, with Snoop Dogg, did he at some point, is he still currently on the label as far as you know?
Is he currently on the label?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what label Snoop Dogg is on.
Okay. And I'm sure MC Hammer hasn't made any albums lately, right?
That I cannot say yes or no to it either. I don't pay that much attention.
Now, so your testimony here today is that you drove into town with Tupac, Tupac's fiance, and somebody else in a Lexus. Is that a yes?
That's correct.
And that would have been, what day was that exactly? The day of the fight, the day before?
That was the day of the fight.
So, so you arrived into Las Vegas with the morning of Saturday? The fight's on Saturday?
It was late afternoon.
Okay. And the intention was that you all, including Mr. Shakur, would be staying at the Luxor?
That's correct.
Now, you're not at the fight, and at some point, you're notified by somebody that you're going to get picked up by people to leave the Luxor. Is that how it worked?
No.
Okay, can you please explain that for me again, please?
We just left the hotel once we knew Mr. Shakur had left.
I see. And so you left the hotel, meaning you left in the Lexus?
No. We
Well, how
left
did
on
you-
foot.
You left on foot. Now, when you left on foot from the Luxor, was that after the fight?
I don't know if the fight was over or not. We don't know if the fight is over or not. We're just on our way
And
to
where?
meet with Mr. Shakur
Okay, and where did you go to meet with Mr. Shakur?
at the MGM where the fight was.
Okay, and did you arrive at the MGM at some point?
Yes, we did.
Did you meet up with Mr. Shakur at the MGM?
Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight were coming out as we were going in.
Okay. And when you say coming out, we're talking about coming out of the property itself.
Correct.
So, and when that happened, what did you do next?
We turned around and started going back the other way, back to the Luxor.
All right, so you all returned back to the Luxor.
Correct.
And was there a plan at that particular point to do anything?
Get dressed.
And what was the purpose of getting dressed?
Mr. Shakur had a performance to do that night.
I see. And do you know where the performance was?
It was at Club 662.
Okay. And do you know where the location of Club 62 is?
I do not.
All right. So everyone got dressed in their separate rooms? Yes?
Correct.
And then you came back down and you were picked up by somebody, or did you just drive your own vehicle?
We were in a Lexus that was belonging to Kadada Jones. Tupac Shakur and Suge was in Suge's car.
All right. And you said there was a caravan of vehicles. I think the question was asked, do you know how many vehicles was in that caravan that came through the Lexor?
I do not.
All right. But in terms of where you were in relation to Suge's vehicle, how many vehicles back were you from Suge's vehicle?
We were directly behind him.
I see. And then when you leave the Luxor, where did you go next?
We went to go head to Club 662. That was what I was told where we were going.
Okay. But what did you eventually end up over at Suge's residence? Suge's
Yeah.
residence? Okay. So even though you said, okay, we're going to go to Club 62, ultimately, you actually went to Suge's residence first?
Correct.
All right. And do you know what the reason was for that?
I don't.
Detour? But, and fair to say, since you've been to his residence, it's a gated community?
I don't remember how we got in. I don't remember if it was gated or not.
Okay. And when, but you were there at Suge's residence, and at some point the caravan leaves Suge's residence and then starts heading towards 662?
Correct.
All right. Now, on the moment of the shooting, your testimony is you saw what you believe to be a white, was it a white Cadillac?
Correct.
Now, do you recall giving a statement to police officers that same morning or so that you thought it was either going to be a white or cream-colored Cadillac? You didn't know for sure?
I don't remember what my statement was 30 years ago.
So would a review of your statement help refresh your recollection as to what you told the detective that night?
If you have that available.
No, just one moment, please.
Of course.
Somewhere. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
May I have leave to wander the courtroom freely?
Sure.
Thank you. Sir, I'm going to show you this statement here. Just read it to yourself, just in that page right there. And just tell me when you're done. Okay. Does that help your refresh your recollections, what you told police officers that night?
Yeah, it's similar to what I just said earlier.
Yeah. And that is that you said it was a light colored, when the question was asked, what color was it? White, I would say light. I'm not even going to say white. I'm going to say a light colored Cadillac.
Correct.
But once again, it's something that obviously in that sort of scenario would come off as either white or light colored, right?
It's at night.
Yeah. In addition to that, when you observed the driving conduct of Suge in the BMW, he made a U-turn and went back onto Las Vegas Boulevard.
I don't know where he was going. That's where he ended up.
Okay. And so at some point you all stop because he stops.
Right.
And you get out of your vehicle to render aid to Tupac.
No, it wasn't to render aid. It was to see how he was doing.
Okay. And so when you approach Tupac, at that particular point, he warns you and says, and I'm sorry, I just want to make sure we're down, get on the ground, they're going to shoot you. Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Correct.
And that would have been because right behind you were police officers with a shotgun.
Correct.
Now, you're kept at the scene for some time, and we see a picture of you sitting on the ground, right?
Correct.
Do you know how how many other of the caravan vehicles were present at the time that you had stopped at the final location where Tupac was at?
I do not.
Was it the same amount as what you had in the beginning when everyone was going to Shook's residence?
I could not tell you.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, and
Thank
you
you.
redirect Mr. Below.
Nothing for the state.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are there any questions for this witness? Please raise your hand if you have any. All right, seeing none, thank you so much. Oh, we do have one, sorry. Jumped the gun on that. May I have the parties approach? All right, Mr. Greenwich, I have a question from one of our jurors for you. Were shots ever fired from your crew toward the attackers?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Any follow-up based on that state?
Nothing for the state.
Defense?
Your Honor, just for clarification, sir, when we say crew, I'm going to ask you just in general, any of the vehicles in the caravan, do you know if any of those vehicles shot at the vehicle that was the light-colored or white?
I do not know.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, now you're free to go. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Greenwich. All right. State, who's your next witness?
Jeff Scott.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this section shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Jeffrey Scott, Jeffrey Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. DiGiacomo, whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a senior crime scene analyst with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
What does that mean you do for a living?
I respond to crime scenes and I document them using notes and photography, recover and impound evidence, and write reports based on the notes and the photographs.
I direct your attention to July 17th of 2023. Did you respond to an address at 2204 Mapleshade Street in Henderson, Nevada?
Yes, I did.
And what was the purpose of you responding there?
I was responding there to document a search warrant.
What shift were you working?
Swing shift.
And so, were you the only CSA that worked that scene that night?
I was the only one there when I arrived, but then I was relieved later on by members of the grave shift.
You've since looked at, have you since looked at all the photographs that were taken that night?
Yes, I have.
And some of them are yours and some of them are theirs, correct?
Yes.
We're going to approach.
You can also wander the courtroom freely, Mr. DiGiacomo.
Thank you. First set I'm going to show you is state's proposed 193 through 107. Just flip through those and see if you can determine are any of those your photographs, or at least do they fairly and accurately depict the location of the search warrant.
Mr. Giacomo, can you clarify for us which numbers you're introducing? You had said 193 to 107.
I'm having them just look at 193 to 107.
So 107 to 193.
No, oh, sorry, 93 to 107.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't realize
My
that.
clerk was very confused.
Most of these are clearly not mine, not the photographs that I took, but a couple of them might be. It's hard to tell.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is that what the front of the residence looked like?
Yes.
And so it accurately reflects what the front of the residence looks like?
Yes.
Move to admit 93, Judge.
Any objection, Mr. Sant?
No, Your Honor.
That'll be admitted.
And then the only really other question that I have for you as that relates to 95, do you know if that's yours or the CSA that followed after you?
That's hard to tell.
Okay.
I probably took a similar photograph.
Okay. And same as 94.
That one I'm pretty sure is not mine.
Okay. So I'm just going to move to admit 93 and 95. Well, 93 is in. Move 95 in.
Any objection to 95?
No, Your Honor, and just for the record, I won't object to the admission of the photographs that were taken at that particular scene by either crime scene analyst, just to move the process along.
So then the others will be admitted via stipulation. So that would be 94 and then 96 through 107?
Correct.
Okay, those will be admitted via stipulation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem, thank you.
Now within that garage, showing you 155, there was a Dodge Caravan, Dodge Charger.
Challenger.
Challenger.
Yes.
And does that accurately reflect that Dodge Challenger?
Yes.
Showing you 156, does that accurately reflect an item of evidence that you collected out of that?
Yes, it does.
And then 157 through 159, take a look at those. Is that the 3 sheets of paper that you collected out of that?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'll move to admit, I know he doesn't object, but 155 through 159.
Any objection to those?
No objection.
Okay, those will be admitted.
I'm going to go through the photographs with someone else, but you did collect a single piece of evidence before you were relieved, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
I'm showing you what's been previously marked as State's Proposed Exhibit number 138. Take a look at that.
Yes, this is the package in which I impounded those pieces of paper.
And then we've had some discussions of packaging, so I'm not going to go through all that, but that's your seal on the back?
Yes, it is.
And with the exception of the slice that the defense, the clerk, and I put in this, it's in substantially the same or similar condition as when you impounded it.
There's an additional date, and I think, yeah, it looks like somebody maybe cut the top and then resealed it.
And if I were to tell you that was on 4/23/26, does that look accurate to you?
Yes.
If you open this, you'd expect to find those 3 pieces of paper you photographed, right?
I would.
Showing you what's been marked as 138A. Are those 3 pieces of paper?
Yes.
Move to admit 138 and 138A.
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted?
Thank you. For the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to show just those last set of pictures of the Dodge Charger in the garage. So let's start with 155. Can you tell me what we're looking at here?
That's a photograph from the right rear section of the Dodge Challenger.
Challenger, sorry, I keep calling it a Charger. Dodge Challenger. And that's parked in the garage area of the residence on Maple Shade.
Yes, it is.
156. That's the location of those 3 pieces of paper you collected?
Yes.
And then 157. And I'll zoom in here. Is that the front page?
Yes, it is.
Without going too much into it, this appears to be a description of an episodic series.
Yes.
158. Oops. Well, generally speaking, page 2 is a ledger that has costs and those type of things.
Yes, page 2 and 3 were was like a budget for the series.
And that's going to lead me just to 159. Appears the total budget was slightly under $1 million.
That's correct.
Thank you, Judge. I have no more questions. I pass the witness.
All right, cross-examination by you, Mr. Sam.
Thank you. Sir, just real quick, for the order, what's episodic? What does that mean?
Episodic?
Yeah.
To me, it means occurring occasionally or regularly.
And that's what you saw on that first piece of paper, right?
Yes.
And your testimony here today really is that you located that piece of paper and you captured it as part of your experience and training as a crime scene analyst.
The detectives executing the search warrant located it and then had me come photograph it, and then I impounded it.
Okay, and just for the jury so they understand what your role is typically in a search warrant is that you're summoned to the scene to conduct an investigation or at least a search of an area based upon what the detective or primary officer tells you is the intent of the search, but you also do your own search as well. Fair?
It depends on the type of call, on how much direction that I'll be given, or I'll be doing it myself.
And with regard to this particular situation and this specific search, you were apprised prior to the search warrant being executed that this was going to happen on this particular day?
Yes.
And so the meeting that typically takes place where you arrive on a scene where a crime had just been committed, where everyone sort of gathers around, they have a conversation of what they're trying to look for. That meeting took place before the knock on the door and the execution of the search warrant.
Yes.
Now, in this regard, you understood that what you were going to do was walk in to look for certain things of evidentiary value, right?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what things you were looking for of evidentiary value?
I didn't have a list of items that we were looking for. I just knew that I was there to document whatever was recovered.
And the document that we just saw here, that was something that you did not locate, one of the detectives did in this case.
That's correct.
Now, do you recall who the primary detective was that was responsible for that search warrant?
Detective Mogg.
Cliff Mogg.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Were there any other detectives on scene besides Cliff Mogg?
There were several, but I don't remember their names.
Right. Now, with regards to what you do as a crime scene analyst, fair to say that you are operating under a search warrant?
Yes.
And a search warrant is a document that allows for law enforcement to go into someone's residence to look around.
That's correct.
And in this particular regard, though, as a crime scene analyst, you're not the one who actually applies for a search warrant, right?
I did not know.
That would be something that would go through, in this case, the primary detective for this particular search.
Yes.
That would have been Detective Mogg.
Yes.
Now, in regards to what you were doing in this case, you searched what parts of the house, if you can recall?
I photographed the entire house. I did not search Again, I was there to document what the detectives found in their search.
Okay, and in your training and experience, do you have a now, sir, your work on this case, when you say you photographed the house, that was prior to the search of each particular room and area, right?
It was after the officers had cleared the residence, and then I came in and I took all my photographs. And then the detectives executed the search warrant and they searched, and then I did follow-up photographs based on what they found.
You did follow photographs.
Yes.
Now, and once again, for the jury, since we weren't there, the photographs you take at the beginning is each room as you find it.
Yes.
And then the photographs that are taken after the search is each room as you find it as well?
I didn't photograph the entire house again. I photographed the items that the detectives located, wanted me to photograph, and then some items I impounded and some items I did not.
Gotcha. And in terms of your photography, was there another crime scene analyst that arrived on scene that took additional pictures outside of the ones that you did?
Yes.
Do you know who that was?
There were 3 members from Graveyard. It was King, Fellabom, and she was Finn at the time, but she's West now.
Okay. And those are the crime scene analysts that would have taken pictures of how each room looked like after the search?
I'm not sure what they did.
Did you take any photographs of any bins of photographs found at the scene?
I don't recall taking photographs of the contents of bins.
Let me just show you here. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Your Honor, just for the record, it's already been admitted as evidence, and this is State's Exhibit, thank you for the record. State's Exhibit number 100. I could just publish that for the jury.
You may.
I'm sorry, we're going to start off with 99 first. So this is State's Exhibit number 99. Do you recall taking this particular photograph?
No, I do not.
Okay, that would have been another crime scene analyst.
Probably.
All right, and then I'm not going to show you the next one. I'm assuming it's the same thing. Outside of the photographs that we mentioned here, what else did you do in the course and scope of your duties as a crime scene analyst on this particular night?
That was it. I photographed the scene. I took notes. I recovered the one item, which was the 3 pieces of paper, and that was it.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions of the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Any redirect, Mr. DiGiacomo?
Not from the state.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Okay. All right, Mr. Scott, question from one of our jurors. What piece of evidence were you expecting to find in a location that was different from 30 years ago? Why would you expect it to be intact 30 years later?
Could you repeat that?
I can. What piece of evidence were you expecting to find in a location that was different from 30 years ago? Why would you expect it to be intact 30 years later?
Not sure I fully understand the question. I wasn't expecting to find anything. I was just there to respond and document and photograph what the detectives were interested in.
Okay.
And I don't really understand the second part of the question.
Mr. DeJacmo, any follow-up?
No.
Mr. Samt, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Scott. You are free to go. Thank you. State who's your next witness.
Stevie Fellabon.
Stevie. Stevie.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this section shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
First name is Stevie, Steavie. Last name is Fellabom, Felabom.
Ma'am, how are you employed?
As a senior crime scene analyst for Rehoboam PD.
We just heard from Jeff Scott. Do you have similar qualifications and backgrounds as Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
Were you the relief crime scene analyst that responded to 2204 Maple Shade Street in Henderson?
Yes, sir.
And did you document with your own photographs, but also reviewed all of the photographs taken at that crime scene prior to your testimony here today?
Yes.
I'm going to go through some of those photographs here and start with 93. What are we looking at? Oop. Thank you, Jessica. So, not that you'll need it for this one, but that mouse up there can allow you to point. It just don't click it, okay?
Yes, sir.
What is this?
That's going to be the exterior of the residence.
I guess we should go, I'll do 95 first. 95. What does this appear to be?
The northeast master bedroom.
And then 94 is a shot from the opposite direction.
Yes.
Sitting on top of that case over here, there appears to be a container for a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Yes.
96. What are we looking at?
That's going to be the dresser on the opposite side of the same bedroom.
And at the bottom here,
There were several books pulled out when I arrived.
one of them is Compton Street Legend, one of them is Murder Rap, the last one is The Confused Mind of a Drug Dealer.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
In addition, 097, was there a Vibe magazine?
Yes.
Did you wind up collecting the Compton Street Legend and the Vibe magazine?
Yes, sir.
Now in the garage, 098, there were 2 bins.
Yes.
And when those bins were opened, 100, oh, I bet you this is 99 first. Try 99. Looked like a number of personal effects that were kept in those.
Yes, sir.
And number 100. The bottom one also had a bunch of personal effects.
Yes.
Do you know what happened to those two containers at the scene?
The detectives recovered them.
So detectives took those two bins and left the scene with them.
Correct.
This is exhibit number 101. What are we looking at here?
That was a jacket in one of the closets.
And on the left, well, I guess we'll zoom in just a little bit. Okay. On the left side, it looks like it says Reg 64 trays, and on the right side, it says Keffe D.
Yes.
And then if we skip to 103, the back of it is Southside City of Compton.
Yes.
After you collect an item, do you photograph it either at the scene or back at the lab?
Yes.
Showing you 104. What are we looking at?
That's the photograph that I took of the Compton Street Legend book once I had recovered it and taken it back to the lab.
And then 105.
It's the back of the same book.
106.
That's the copy of the Vibe magazine after I had recovered it and taken it back to the lab.
And 107.
It's the date and barcode on the cover.
So it looks like the November 96 edition of the Vibe magazine.
Correct.
Oh, ma'am. Previously opened off these, but let me show you. State's proposed exhibit number 148. Is that your evidence package from that night?
Yes.
And among what else you recovered, would you expect to find both the book and the Vibe magazine inside there had it still been sealed?
Yes.
So let me start first with the Vibe magazine. This is State's proposed exhibit number 140. And which is, you recognize the bag on the outside?
Yes.
And what is that?
That's the identifying information that we put on interior packages to include the event number, my P number and initials, the date that it was recovered, and the item number.
And then I'm going to show you now 140A. What is that?
That looks like the Vibe magazine that I recovered.
So that's the actual Vibe magazine that you wound up recovering out of that house.
If it came from that package, yes.
Move to admit 140A.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
I'm going to show you the outside of this. This is, 139. Do you recognize that?
Yes, same identifying information, listing it as my item number too.
And then if you pull that item out, what would you expect to find?
The Compton Street Legend book.
Showing it to you. 139A. Does that appear to be the book?
Yes.
And I want to show you, you took pictures of the front and the back.
Correct.
The back has no picture on it, right?
No photograph now.
Okay, it just has some words.
Yes.
And then if you flip through this entire book, there's no interior pictures in this book. Does that seem accurate?
Yes, sir.
Because I moved in 148, correct?
Any objection?
Oh, I think I did move.
They already moved in. Okay, thank you.
I think the rest of this, we've agreed we're not going to move in. So
Understood.
I would pass this.
You may cross.
Thank you, Honor.
I have no objection to all of them. Yeah, I don't have an objection.
Ms. Billabong,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been a crime scene analyst?
About 9 years.
And during that time period, these kinds of searches would be standard operating procedure for you?
To assist them with the detectives, yes.
Yeah. And once again, with regard to your training experience, when you are conducting this kind of investigation, you're looking for things of evidentiary value, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the evidentiary value part, though, is dependent upon what you learn at the scene from the primary officer or the detective that's conducting the search.
Correct.
And so whatever you're doing is within the parameters that they're asking for.
Yes.
Now, in this case, we've seen some pictures of some books and a jacket. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you arrived on scene, you were on scene for the later half or the latter half of the search.
Yes.
You weren't there for the beginning part of the search.
No, sir.
So the photographs you took are photographs that were of the areas and the rooms in the house after the search had been conducted.
Yes.
Fair to say, of course, is that each room was in disarray.
The search had already been started, yes, sir.
Yeah, and you don't know what they look like prior to you arriving on scene, but definitely after, there's things strewn around.
Yes, sir.
In your 9 years of experience as a crime scene analyst, when officers are conducting a search, they typically will be as thorough as they can be to look through everything in an area.
Yes.
Do they ever return those things back to how they found it before they entered into say, the room or the house?
I would say it depends on the level to which they've moved everything. If the entire closet's been empty, they don't typically put everything back.
They do not typically put everything back?
Not typically, no, sir.
Okay, so you don't have any photographs that you took after everything was over where the room was put back into place, how these police officers found it?
I have photos immediately before we left the residence after they'd finished searching, but not with everything placed as officers found it.
I see. And so what you were documenting basically was, for lack of a better word, the thoroughness of each police officer's search of each room?
The state that we left it in when we were clearing, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, some of the things that we were shown in this case, did you ever at any point find electronics or were asked to take pictures of electronics at the residence?
I believe the only electronic item I photoed was a laptop in the shed. All of the others were photoed by CSA Scott.
Okay. But as far as you know and what you recall, there were electronics found at the house, like say, I don't know, iPads and laptops, that kind of thing?
Laptops, definitely. I'm not sure what other types.
But you're not the crime scene analyst that would have captured that and put that into evidence?
I didn't recover the laptop itself, no, sir.
Okay. And as far as you know, do you know how many electronics were in the house when you were there?
I don't.
Do you know whose responsibility that would have been?
Whoever was in charge of the search warrant, they had it listed on the return.
Okay. And just for the jury's edification, a return is a document that's left at the house or the area to notify the owner that certain items were taken as a result of the search.
Yes, sir.
So it's almost like a receipt.
Yes.
Okay. And your job really stops with regards to the actual search itself. You don't do anything further when you go back to your office with Metro or anything like that?
Aside from impounding whatever I recover, no, sir.
Okay. And just for our edification, when something's impounded, the concern, of course, is to maintain what's called chain of custody, right? Meaning that if you find something on scene, you want to make sure that that piece of evidence is exactly how it was as you found it at the scene and not molested or changed or anything like that.
Correct.
So sometimes, like in other investigations, you might have gloves on to protect you from transferring DNA or fingerprints onto the actual item of interest.
I'm usually always wearing gloves, but yes, different DNA considerations, depending
So
on.
when you're telling us that you went back to make sure that certain items were impounded, items that you had taken and put it into an evidence baggie?
Yes, sir.
You took that to the evidence vault?
I would have sealed it, and then we have a temporary hold that's locked, so I would have sealed it with all the identifying information and then placed it in that hold, and an evidence technician would have continued the chain of custody.
And in terms of sealing it, you have a certain tape, color of tape that you would put on the opening of the packaging to indicate that it's been sealed by you?
Yes, sir. Ours is red, and then I sign that with my initials and the date that I'm sealing it.
I see. And then do you put your initials on the actual tape itself or somewhere on the tape side of the?
Across the tape and the package, so if it's moved, it's evident.
Okay, and now, at some point in the future, if someone comes along, they can go into that evidence vault and remove your package out, right?
If they check it out, yes, sir.
And if they were to open it, they would have to open it from some other side of the packaging.
Typically, yes.
And then when they seal it, to return it back to the evidence vault, they would actually put a different type of tape on it to indicate it came from somewhere else.
I've seen red and blue used, so depending on the circumstance, yes.
Okay. Now, the bins of photographs that we see in the pictures, and I think this is State's Exhibit number 199.
Sorry.
Showing you what's been marked and admitted already as State's Exhibit number 100. This is one of the photographs you took.
Yes.
Did you rifle through or look through those photographs to see what was in them?
I did not know.
That would have been somebody else's responsibility.
Yes, sir.
You're just there to take the picture of what was in it.
Yes, sir.
Now, showing you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit number 99. Is this the other bin that was in the garage that you took a picture of?
Yes.
Okay. And once again, these are bins that you are directed to by detectives to take pictures of.
Yes.
Okay. Showing you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit number 98. Do you see over here on the top right, these are the two bins over here that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Do you see this bin over here?
Yes.
Did you ever take a picture of what was inside that bin?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so the what we have in terms of evidence in this case would have been the State's Exhibit number 99 and 100, but not Exhibit number 98.
I'm sorry, what's your question, sir?
Meaning that we have the open bins for, this would be 99 and 100, but not for this particular bin over here.
As far as items recovered, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm showing you, if I may approach, Your Honor.
You may.
Showing you what's been marked as proposed defense exhibits F through W, UU. If you could just look through those photographs real quick. And just tell me when you're ready.
Judge, I told Mr. Kemp I'd stipulate the initial F through G.
Okay. Do you want to just have them admitted then at this time?
You might want to still review them.
Okay.
I believe these are a mixture of both mine and CSA Scott's photos
Okay.
from inside the residence, but they're consistent.
All right. And just with regard to the record, this has been admitted by stipulation between the state and the defense, and that would be Defense Exhibit F through Defense Exhibit UU.
They will now be admitted.
It will now be admitted?
Yeah.
Thank you, Honor. All right, and just for our edification, Sean, you just for a couple photographs here, this would be Defense Exhibit G. Sure you can see what we're talking about. This would have been a photograph taken after the search of the house.
I believe so, yes.
Defense Exhibit I, as in Isaac, is that another photograph taken after the search of the house?
That appears so, yes.
This is Defense Exhibit J, another photograph taken.
Yes.
Along with that, this is Defense Exhibit K, another photograph.
Yes, sir.
Defense Exhibit L.
Yes.
Defense Exhibit N.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything further by the state?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Seeing no hands, Ms. Bellabum, you're free to go. Thank you so much for being with us today. State, who's your next witness?
Justine Gaddis.
All right. Before this witness testifies, you may hear testimony regarding drug trafficking, conspiracy, a prior federal conviction, and gang affiliation. None of this is offered to show propensity to commit a crime, and you may not consider it for that purpose or any other purpose. It is only offered to establish credibility of statements made by defendant and motive and identity. All right, come on up.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this section shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Justine, Justine, Gaddis, Gatus.
Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Duckman.
Ma'am, how are you employed?
I'm a homicide detective with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
How long you been with Metro?
Coming up on 20 years. I've been in homicide for over 8.
And can you describe how homicide is set up at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department?
So we have 4 teams that work active calls. Each team has 6 detectives, and each of those 6, basically, we kind of rotate all throughout the entire bay of detectives for who gets the next call in order as it just kind of comes down the line.
Back in 2023, were you assigned to a particular squad?
Yes, I was.
And who was your sergeant?
Back then it was Igor DeCaro.
Is he still your sergeant today?
Yes, he is.
And on your squad, was there a person by the name of Cliff Mogg?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did you become aware that he was investigating the Tupac Shakur homicide?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to direct your attention to July of 2023. Were you present during the execution of the search warrant at the residence?
Yes, I was.
And while you were present for that search warrant, were there 2 bins located? I'm going to put up State's Exhibit 98. Were there 2 bins located?
Yes, sir.
What happened to those 2 bins?
Those bins were collected and transported to Metro headquarters and ultimately impounded. The bins themselves were ultimately released back.
At Metro headquarters, those bins were searched.
Yes.
Certain items were removed.
Yes.
And then those bins were returned.
Correct.
And then who impounded the items that were taken out of that bin?
Detective Mogg.
When did Detective Mogg officially retire from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department?
I want to say it was August, I know it was August of 23, but I think maybe August 12th of 2023.
And sometime after August 12th of 23, in September of 23, did you become aware that this case was indicted by the Clark County Grand Jury?
Yes, sir.
Were you and Sergeant DeCaro assigned a role to assist now investigator Mogg if he needed a peace officer?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to go through just some of those things. But on April 23rd of 2026, did you go to the evidence hall?
Yes, I did.
Who was with you at the evidence hall?
You and Mr. Banu, Igor DeCaro, Mike Samph, his investigator, Aaron Stanton, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name, his female assistant partner.
Megan?
Yes.
Okay. Was Cliff Mogg there too?
Yes, he was.
And what was the purpose of us all going down to the vault?
To review the evidence that has been impounded for this case.
And were you the peace officer, you and Mr. DeCaro, the peace officers, or Sergeant DeCaro, sorry, the peace officers that were present for purposes of touching the evidence, opening the evidence, reviewing the evidence with the defense and the state?
Yep, and then I resealed the evidence. That's correct.
Show you what's been marked as state's proposed exhibit number 132. Is that the original impound from Detective Mogg that we wound up opening and going through everything in?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go through all these. This one I'm going to do last because there's a lot. Showing you state's proposed exhibit number 135. Was that an item that was in this impound package?
Yes, sir.
Move to admit 135.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
Showing you what's been marked as state's proposed exhibit 136. Is that an item that was in there?
Yes, sir.
Now, state's proposed 134 is a package. It's a proposed package. Just want you to look through there. We're 134A, B, C, and D, all within that package.
Yes, sir.
Move to admit, I guess I should do 134 and A through D so we have the package to keep them in.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
That'll be 134A, B, C, and D.
And one of those items, 134D, is a magazine about Biggie Smalls.
Correct.
There were some miscellaneous items collected, but I think we are all putting in 133, but I don't have a cover for 133. Madam Clerk, is there any cover for 133, or do we just have them separate? Oh, the back, perfect. Something to keep it in. 133, I think, is technically the bag, but there's a Lakers ticket that's marked.
Yes.
That was in there?
Yes, sir.
133A, E, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L were all within this package.
Yes, sir.
Move to admit 133 and 133A through L.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
And then lastly, was there this
Photo book, yeah.
photo book 137?
Yes.
And then were there a number of items that were inside this photo book?
Yes, sir.
And the clerk and the defense and I have had these marked as 137A through, I think the last one is U. If you want to briefly flip through those.
Okay.
Judge, is 136 admitted? I believe I offered it.
Chess? It's not. It is not.
I think you acknowledged this was in there.
Yes, sir.
Move to admit 136.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
All of those were within this, call it scrapbook for lack of a better term.
Yes, sir.
So I want to go through some of these items, and if you could put it on the overhead. Ooh, that's bad. All right. This item 136. Thanks, Mike. Actually, I think we should put them here because otherwise they're just going to slide. 136 is actually what appears to be, well, it says an affidavit and a search warrant.
Correct.
From the Compton PD.
Yes, sir.
And it appears that it's dated May 27th of 1997.
Correct.
It appears that it's at 1524 South California Ave in Compton.
Yes, sir.
And on the back, there is a handwritten return.
Yes, sir.
One of the items that was recovered, it says number 4, money due bill for the Monte Carlo Casino.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go through the items that were in the scrapbook, and now I've just messed up their entire order, so I guess it doesn't matter which order. Let's just show some of the newspaper articles. So, State's Exhibit number 137H.
I'm sorry. You said 137?
137H. Did we?
I don't have that listed as, it just,
Didn't I offer everything 137 and 137A through you?
you listed it, but you didn't
Yes.
ask for it to be admitted.
It'll be admitted at this time.
Thank you.
No objection, Your Honor. Okay, perfect. By stipulation.
This appears to be an article about Mr. Shakur's death.
Yes, sir.
G. Another one about the death of Mr. Shakur, and this one's actually dated September 19th of 96.
Yes, sir.
U. Is another article that was found in there talking about Mr. Knight being kept in jail.
Yes, sir.
.137 appears to be a newspaper article about a bad rap for new artists.
That's correct. .137B, an article about Mr. Shakur being in a fight with the MGM. Yes, sir.
.137C, an article about a death row exec didn't leave, and this is from September 14th of 1996.
Yes, sir.
This one. This is 137D. I don't want to peel it back, but I guess we can peel that back. It appears to be the community mourns, and there's a picture of his death that's going to send a strong message to the rap community. It looks like an article about death in the rap industry.
Yes, sir.
And if we, I don't know if I can zoom this in, to be honest with you. It appears to be discussing the death of Tupac Shakur.
Correct.
.137E, star rapper Tupac Shakur badly wounded is a newspaper article.
That's correct.
And are you aware that Tupac Shakur died on September 13th?
Yes, sir.
So this appears to be prior to September 13th.
Yes, sir.
.137F. Let me back out just a little bit. There's an article about police raids targeting or sparked by Tupac Shakur's death.
Yes.
And this one actually has a handwritten date that says 9/3 of 96.
10/3 of 96.
Oh, sorry, 10/3 of 96.
Yes, sir.
.137I. You can probably read it without me pulling it out. This one is rappers and Muslims gather for peace, and it's this dated September 23rd of 1996.
That's correct.
Oh, 137J. Here's be an article titled Night, related to Suge Knight.
Yes, sir.
Hold up to see the whole thing. 137K. It's an article entitled 22 Held in Shootings Possible Shakur Payback.
Yes, sir.
As well as another piece of article, Complex Life Comes to an End.
That's correct.
And it looks like it discusses the death of Mr. Shakur on the back.
Yes, sir.
.137L. This appears to be an article about the death of Biggie Smalls.
Yes, sir.
137A, or sorry, 37M. This one says, man who fought with Shakur on videotape is released.
Correct.
If we zoom in, it discusses the arrest of Orlando Anderson for a different crime, as well as discussion of retaliation in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
(137N). There's an article about gangster rap performer Notorious B.I.G. being slain.
Yes, sir.
(137O). An article about gang ties suspected in killings.
Yes, sir.
137P. An article from September 16th, 1996, obviously related to Tupac.
Yes, sir.
(137Q). This is about a rap lawyer's contending detective lie.
Yes, sir.
And it starts off with, they seek dismissal of judge's ruling in probation case saying Las Vegas investigator committed perjury about Marion Suge Knight's alleged role in the assault before Tupac Shakur slaying.
Yes, sir.
(137R). This appears to be sort of a combination of both Biggie and Tupac's murder, but little bullet-riddled rap is how it's titled.
That's correct.
And then it says, is the rivalry escalating despite so-called truce?
That's correct.
This is originally folded. There we go. Just a couple more, detective. 137S. An article entitled Living Dangerously.
Yes, sir.
And it appears, if you look really close at the bottom, this is from People magazine in September 23rd of 1996.
That's correct.
(137T), the last on this one. An article entitled, on March 10th of 1997, No Easy Answers for Violence in Gangsta Rap.
That's correct.
Now, in addition to being the, let's call you impounding officer at the vault on April 23rd, did there come a point in time when you went as a law enforcement officer to California to interview certain individuals?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall the interviews of individuals you interviewed?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me who they were?
We spoke with Yosef Yah, Rashina Smith, Corey Edwards, Roger Williams. I believe there was one more. I can't remember.
Mop James?
Yes.
James McDonald?
Yes, James McDonald. That's who it was.
In addition to that, did you become aware that in this proceeding, well, let me ask you this, as a homicide detective, do you know what a compelling order is?
Yes, I do.
What's a compelling order?
It's basically an order issued by, well, in this example, it's issued by the state of California, compelling witnesses who live there to appear in front of the court.
We have to ask our court to issue some documentation, and then we have to ask their court for a compelling order.
Correct.
Judge, I'd ask you to take judicial notice that you've issued compelling orders for Trayvon Lane, Roger Williams, James McDonald, Corey Edwards, and a Fergie Brooks.
Let me make sure I have all those, actually. All right.
There might be a sixth one, actually. Oh, Malcolm Greenwich would be the sixth one.
All right. Corey Edwards, I'll take judicial notice of that one. Roger Williams, I'll take judicial notice of that one. James McDonald, James McDonald, I'll take judicial notice of that one. And then there's another block of them a little later.
Correct. I think Fergie Brooks and Trayvon Lane came a little later.
Trayvon Brooks, I'll take judicial notice of that.
Fergie Brooks.
Sorry, Trayvon Lane, I'll take
Trayvon
judicial
Lane.
notice of that. And, all right, Fergie Brooks.
And then recently Malcolm Greenwich.
Recently, Malcolm Greenwich. Michael Payne.
What?
Michael Payne.
Malcolm Payne was a transporter.
Okay. Malcolm Greenwich. All right, I'll take judicial notice of that.
Of all six.
Yes. So,
Did you become aware that certain of those six individuals weren't cooperating even though they had been served papers by California?
Yes, sir.
And so did you coordinate with anyone to assist California authorities in locating these individuals?
I did.
Oh, and let me back up. There was also someone in New York that there's a compelling order for, correct?
I'm not sure if the order was served or issued, but yes, I know the individual in New York.
Did you locate someone by the name of Anthony Gomez in New York?
Yes, sir.
And he is currently on probation.
Correct.
And there's an effort to locate what jurisdiction he was in order to get a compelling order.
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you do with the people who weren't cooperative despite the California authorities ordering them to come to Nevada?
We went up on their phones, which means we received orders to where we can ping their phone location to try to identify where they were specifically at.
And for those people, well, how many pens do you think you did?
I think about 5.
And do you remember which 5 you had to do pens on?
Corey Edwards, Fergie Brooks, Roger Williams,
Was there Malcolm Greenidge on
yes, Malcolm was, yes. And I can't remember the last one. I know we've already spoke about him though.
Oh no, how about Devontae Lee? Did you have to get one?
Yes,
Now Devontae Lee was local, so we didn't need a compelling verdict.
correct.
Last Friday, did you coordinate with our local authorities as well as authorities in California in order to effectuate an arrest warrant in California for anybody?
Yes,
And who did you try to effectuate an arrest warrant on?
Corey Edwards.
And was he located at his residence?
No,
Was there any other person associated with Corey that was missing from his residence?
yes, there was.
And who is that?
His mother.
And is your understanding that she is 95 years old and an invalid?
She's in poor health, yes.
On Monday, was there an effort at another location in Compton to effectuate an arrest warrant for Mr. Edwards?
Yes, there was.
And was that successful?
No, sir.
Thank you, Detective. I pass the witness.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Samps.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing, Detective Gaddis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Thank you for appearing here today.
Yes, sir.
Now, your testimony is based on your work with Clifford Mogg from 2023 on.
Well, I've worked with retired Detective Mogg since 2018.
Okay, so in 2018 to 2023, what did you do in furtherance of this case?
I personally did not do a extensive amount of anything. It was primarily being investigated by Detective Mogg.
Right, and so from 2018 to 2023, you didn't do anything of real note. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as a detective with Metro, obviously you have to qualify to become a detective in the homicide division of Metro.
We have a testing process.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where just because I asked to be on the homicide team doesn't mean I'm going to get on the homicide team, unless I demonstrate qualifications to get there.
More or less, yes.
Yeah. Now, in terms of your training experience, though, fair to say it starts in the police academy as you're getting ready as a cadet before you become a full-fledged officer?
It's a police recruit, but yes.
Okay. And while you're in the academy, you learn skills that would help you become a successful police officer in our community.
Correct.
One of those things that you learn, of course, is how to write reports.
Yes, sir.
Officers' reports are a crucial tool that you would use in furtherance of your job as a police officer in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
With regards to police officers' reports, sometimes you don't have to write a report. I would assume, like for instance, if you pull someone for a traffic ticket and on the citation you could write some notes or something along those lines, that wouldn't require you to do a police report.
That's correct.
Or officer's report.
Yes.
All right, but in terms of when you're conducting an investigation, fair to say that typically a officer's report would be written?
Typically, yes.
Yes. Now, can you explain to the jury why an officer's report would be important in the furtherance of an investigation?
The officer's report primarily is for our own reflection to recall really all the steps that we took throughout the entirety of an investigation. So it's a document that we can refer back to without going to each and every document specifically.
Now, fair to say, though, that the officer's report also helps in the event that, say, for instance, you get promoted to become a sergeant and someone else takes over your caseload because you're no longer the detective, right?
Yes, sir.
They would look at that officer's report to help them get up to speed as to what your investigation was at the time you get promoted to become sergeant.
Correct.
Or lieutenant.
Yeah.
Or captain.
I'll never see that, but yes.
I'm just hopeful. Let's
Yeah.
be hopeful. But with regards to your officer's report, for instance, when you are about ready to move on in the next phase of your career, for instance, those officer reports typically are prepared and completed upon your departure to whatever it is you're going to do next.
Most of the time, they try to get those done. Sometimes they're not.
Sure. Now, in terms of sometimes or not, can you tell us when is there an exception to the rule of when you do your officer's report after, say, for instance, when you retire?
Haven't retired yet. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But fair to say, of course, if that in the event of an actual complete departure from the department, meaning you move on in your life doing something else, that those officers' reports should be completed prior to you departing the department.
I know the department would like them completed, but again, sometimes they're just not.
Yeah.
I've seen many cases where there's still open officers' reports with people who are no longer on.
Sure. And so with regard to those open officers' reports, fair enough, you know, they get created at some point in the future. How about like 1 year after they retire?
I don't know. Are you asking like would they or could they?
Well, have you ever seen an officer's report being filed a year after an officer retires from the department?
Authored by the original investigator? No. A lot of times, like there'll be either one of the guys from cold case that will kind of pick up a case and finish that up, and so then that will be completed after the originating officer retired.
Okay. Well, what about 2 years after the main officer or detective in this case retires? Have you seen anyone actually, you know, finish up his officer's report 2 years after he retires?
And submit it still as an officer? No.
3 years?
No.
And it's fair to say that there's common sense reasons for that, right? You want to make sure that your report is accurate, right?
Yes.
Because accuracy is important in what you do as a police officer.
Correct.
You want to make sure that your report is written in such a way, like you said before, someone could take that report and continue on with the investigation, who is still a detective.
Yes.
Okay. And also that report, in essence, becomes sort of a documentation of all the effort that that detective puts into the file, right?
Generally most of it, yes.
Yeah.
It might not have everything in it, but there's the vast majority typically goes in the officer's report.
Sure. Now, in this particular case, as you're sitting here right now, you work for the Metropolitan Police Department.
Yes, I do.
Do you work for the District Attorney's Office?
No, I didn't.
And the reason why you don't work for them is because they're two separate agencies, right?
They are.
They have two different purposes, correct?
Correct.
Your job as a police officer with Metro is to investigate and determine facts, fair?
Yes.
Now, at some point in the future, the District Attorney's Office, their job is to determine if they want to prosecute a case and actually litigate it like in front of this jury, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's not your role. Your role is just to find the facts.
And present it to them, yes.
And present it to the District Attorney's Office.
Yes.
Okay. Now, they do have investigators that work for them.
Yes, sir.
Right? But fair to say, those investigators are not doing what you're doing, right? Which is looking for facts.
Well, I object to looking for facts. And one calls for speculation.
What's your response?
I'm just asking for her experience as a detective as to how investigators fit into the overall picture of what we're talking about here. I don't believe it's speculation.
Can you rephrase it? Because I
Sure.
forgot the original question.
So with regards to your role and the experience you've had as a police officer, have you ever seen a Clark County District Attorney investigator be the primary person to put on an investigation?
Like as the lead investigator, no.
Yes, that's correct. So no, the answer is no.
Correct. Not in my experience.
And not in your experience. Now, in terms of what you're doing here, your testimony here was specifically about the search warrant and what happened when you located, whatever it is you located during the course of the search warrant, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the search warrant itself, did you apply for that search warrant?
No, I did not.
Now, typically, as a detective, when you're applying for a search warrant, you fill out an affidavit,
Yes, sir.
and at the end, you sign it, attesting it to be true and correct to the best of your ability.
Yes, sir.
And you detail in that search or that application for a search warrant, the location and what you intend on finding as a result of going into somebody's house.
Yes.
Okay. That would be the purview of whoever the lead detective is at that particular time.
Yeah, or who was just writing the search warrant. There's a lot of times people write search warrants and they're not lead detectives, but yes, I agree with what you're saying for the most part.
And in this case, Detective Mogg was the responsible detective to petition for that search warrant.
Yes, he was.
And he was the one who signed that affidavit.
Yes, he was.
Now, you were on scene as a detective to help him with that, with the execution of the search warrant.
Correct.
And it isn't just you and Detective Mogg, there's other people from Metro that's present as well.
Yes, sir.
Other detectives as well.
Yes, sir.
As well as the crime scene analysts that we have on scene.
Yes.
And they're all looking for information.
Correct.
Now, the information that you're looking for is based upon my client's residence, right, Mr. Davis' residence.
For that search warrant, yes.
And you are looking for evidence that would take you back 30 years to whether or not that person was involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Yes.
Okay. So the information that we've received here today is the fruits of your labor from that search warrant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, there were numerous different electronic devices that was taken from the scene.
Yes.
Now, are you aware that one of the intents or one of the focuses of the search was to look for evidence or facts specifically about the writing of a book?
Yes.
Okay, meaning the book that you had shown to the jury, that particular book, there was a search or at least an intent to look for evidence that would help support whether Mr. Davis had a manuscript.
I don't think I reviewed a book up here when I was being shown the evidence. I know the book that you're referring to.
Right, and I'm just showing you, once again, if I could have
Show my version,
I got it right here. I'm part of this. Showing you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit 104, this document or this book right here.
Yes.
Okay, so this book was the one of the focuses of the search.
Yes.
And in the application for the search warrant, fair to say that as a detective, you would read the parameters in which Mr. or Detective Mogg at the time had requested in terms of the purpose of the search.
He would have documented that in there, yes.
Yeah, and for instance, would a review of the application and affidavit of search warrant help refresh your recollection as to what Detective Mogg had requested from a court to allow him to search for?
I actually have not read the full document before.
Oh.
I can review it if you'd like. But yeah, I up to this point have not read the full document.
Okay. So you're saying though that the person that could best tell this jury what he applied for would be Detective Mogg?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, in addition to that, looking at the State's Exhibit number 104, the name that's on top over here, did this name have any significance to you in participating in the search warrant in this case?
Yes.
What significance does this name have to you?
We knew that was Duane Davis's nickname or street name.
Is that correctly spelled?
I don't know.
Yeah, and then with regard to this person right here, do you know who this person was?
Yes, I do know.
Who is that person?
Yosef Yah.
Now, with regards to Yosef Yah, can you tell the jury a little bit about who he is?
He was the to my understanding, he is the co-author of the book.
Okay. Now, you had a chance at some point to speak with Mr. Yah.
Yes, sir.
And just for my recollection, do you recall when you spoke to him?
It was on about Memorial Day of this year.
So 2026?
Yes, sir.
Memorial Day. Do you recall when the grand jury occurred with regards to this case?
In 2023.
All right. And so explain a little bit to the jury what a grand jury is.
It's a jury that have been assimilated here at the Clark County Regional Justice Center. They hear cases, then they determine if there is sufficient cause to issue an indictment on the accused.
And typically that would be something, if you were the primary detective, you would have been involved in this particular one, but you were not. Right?
That's correct.
Okay. That would be something then Detective Mogg would have been responsible for.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, with regards to Yusuf, we had read off a bunch of names the state had, and I want to make sure I'm clear here. Was his name read off as one of the names that they had issued some type of warrant or something for in this case?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, so you interviewed Yusuf about May of this year. He's on the book cover, but you don't ask the court for a warrant for his arrest in California.
No, I did not.
Or some type of notice in California, hey, you need to show up to court.
No, we did not.
Okay. And did you ever at any point go down after your meeting with Yusuf to knock on his door again and say, hey, Yusuf, can you please come to Nevada based upon our interview or discussion?
No, I did not.
Now, in addition to that, when you went down to speak to Yusuf, at that particular time, you're with Clifford Mogg, right?
That's correct.
Now, at that particular point, Clifford Mogg is not a detective with Metro.
Correct.
He had been retired at that point, how many years?
2.5, maybe?
Okay. And so you accompanied him down to California to do that interview with Yusuf?
With several people, yes.
Okay. But you're going down as a police officer with the Metropolitan Police Department at that particular point?
Yes.
But not Clifford Mogg. He's not a police officer at that point?
Correct, he was not.
He is an investigator with the Clark County District Attorney's Office?
Yes, sir.
Now, based upon that particular interview, did you conduct that interview?
No, primarily Detective Mogg did, or Investigator Mogg did.
Sure. And after that interview, did you draft an officer's report documenting what you learned in the course of that interview?
No, I did not.
That would be something that Detective Mogg or Mr. Mogg would have done?
Sometimes we don't write an officer's report just for like an interview synopsis. We'll typically get those transcribed.
Okay. Now, in this case, for instance, the officer's report are pretty important, right?
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about going to the evidence locker, and we were all present at the evidence locker, right?
Yes, sir.
It's my assistant, the guilty looking one over there with the glasses, myself, and my investigator as well as Mr. DiGiacomo, Mr. Brino, Clifford Mogg, and yourself.
And my sergeant, Igor DeCaro.
Yeah. Now, after that particular incident, you wrote an officer's report, right?
That one I did, yes.
Right. Once again, it's important to document what happens on a given event.
Correct.
Okay. Now, in this particular regard, did you at any point of your participation in this case and that submission of that report ever view a officer's report from Clifford Mogg?
No, I have not reviewed an officer's report from him.
Are you aware that Clifford Mogg began his responsibilities as the main detective on this case in either 2017 or 18?
To my understanding, yes, that's correct.
And he had been the investigator from that time period, and we'll just give him the benefit of the doubt, 2018 all the way up to 2023 when he retired.
Correct.
But as of right now, as you sit here, you've never read an officer's report from Detective Mogg in between that time period?
Pertaining to this investigation, no.
No. Now, in addition to that, there was some discussion about people. Was there ever a compelling order or a warrant issued for Suge Knight in this case?
Not to my knowledge, or if there was, I didn't have a role in that.
Right, and fair to say you know exactly where Suge Knight is today?
Yes.
He's actually in custody?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever at any point issue a compelling order or a warrant for Foxy Brown?
I did not.
Okay. Do you know who she is?
I don't.
Okay. That would have been something that maybe Mr. Mogg would know of.
Yes.
Okay. How about for an individual named Big Meech from Detroit?
I don't know who that is.
Once again,
I have not issued a, yes.
So
And the
that-
same answer that Detective Mogg would be, he would have more knowledge on that.
Now, the articles that we took a look at here that the jury was introduced to, do you know any reason, besides the fact that they were taken from my client's house, do you know who put those articles together?
I do not.
Do you know the purpose of those articles?
I do not.
Okay. Now, fair to say, in the course and scope of your investigation as a detective now, one of the things that you would look for if you were looking at a suspect would be through their phone.
In today's age, yes.
Yeah. And one of the things you look for either on their phone or on their computers would be maybe search history.
Yes.
And what you're looking for is if a person is Googling an address and Googling up a shooting that took place on the corner of Charleston and, I don't know, Wallaby, and they're doing it over and over again, that would lend some issue as to why you're looking up the details of a shooting that, say, nobody knows, right?
Yes.
And that would help you determine whether that person has knowledge of a shooting that pretty much nobody else would know.
I can't say nobody else would know, but they would show that they do have knowledge of the incident occurring.
Right. Now, in terms of those articles, though, can you say that that's what that was for?
I cannot.
Now, in addition to that, in your experience, we had spoken a little bit about this folder here. I'm going to show you again for the jury. This is State's Exhibit 37. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. 137. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I just want to make sure I'm not colorblind, but is this blue?
No, sir.
Yeah. There looks like there might be like a candy cane on top of it.
That's correct.
And something else that's there. It looks like a little snowman or something like that. Do you know what the purpose of this folder was?
No, other than it being just like a scrapbook type.
But nothing else besides that?
I don't know any other relevance to that.
Okay, and just for the record, it's got green in here as well. It looks like a pretty festive notebook or
Yes.
folder.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your one of the things that you had shared with us as well is the search warrant in this case that was found on scene. This would have been this would be State's Exhibit 136. You recall looking at this particular document here?
Yes, I do.
In terms of this document, this is a document that looks like this occurred back in May of 1997.
Correct.
And this obviously was in a different state. This is California.
Yes, sir.
And this was a search warrant of what looks like to be a house that would have been attributed to my client.
I'm not sure who it is, who resided there then. I know the address is there, the California.
Yeah, it would be the California address that's on the next page, right? Yes. I just don't want to push it again. But let's turn to the last page here. One of the things that was made mention by the state, and just pointing the jury to the receipt of property taken, that's like our property return.
Yes.
Or search warrant return. Okay.
That's correct.
And in it, it identifies various different things that was taken from that particular residence.
Yes, sir.
Now, one of the things that's in here, for instance, is this line number 4, money due bill for the Monte Carlo Casino. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have that?
No, I do not.
Was there any copy of that in the house that you searched in 2023?
Not that we found.
And with regards to that particular description there, can you tell us, for instance, just by the description alone, when that money due bill was dated?
I don't know from that description. We just know when the search warrant was issued, so I would assume previous to that
Right.
issue date.
Right, but we don't know an exact date.
Correct.
And the other things that are on here, for instance, the 9 miscellaneous photographs, all these things are things that another detective wrote down in the course and scope of their investigation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, when you were in Mr. Davis's home, you had identified, or there were various different electronic devices that were seized.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with regard to those electronic devices, there were quite a few.
Yes.
Those electronic devices, and I just want to make sure I'm clear here, you had taken a Dell Inspiron 1764 laptop computer.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever at any point cause that computer to be reviewed for information that would help you lead to whether or not Mr. Davis wrote that book or helped write that book?
I did not.
Okay. And just for the jury's edification, let's make sure we're clear. When you're reviewing an electronic device like that, you are looking for files, search history, things that would help you see whether or not Mr. Davis used that particular machine to help write the book, for instance, in this case.
In theory, yes, somebody would do that.
Right. And you also took from the residence a Toshiba laptop computer.
Yes.
Did you find any information that would help you know or learn whether or not Mr. Davis actually wrote Compton Street Legend or anything like that?
I did not write a search warrant to get into the digital items, so I've never reviewed anything from the electronics.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm clear. That would have been Clifford Mog's job, not your job.
Yes.
Because at the time, he was the detective responsible for this investigation.
Correct.
Now, but I just want to make sure we're clear for the jury. The other items that were seized at that point that you were at least part of the seizure would have been a Toshiba satellite laptop computer. So that's 3 computers. Another laptop computer, 8 HP G171 laptop computer, an HP touchscreen desktop computer, an iPad, another iPad, and a Sky device tablet. Those were the things that were taken from the residence, right?
That sounds accurate, yes.
And just stop me if you think I'm wrong, if you need to look at something, all right?
Okay.
In addition to that, it looks like there was some drives that were taken as well, a Toshiba external drive, a USB drive, and an iPad with a broken screen, and an iPhone in a black case.
Yes.
Okay. And those were all the fruits of your search of Mr. Davis's residence when you went there?
Yes, sir.
And once again, whatever was found inside of those objects would be something that would be Detective Mog's responsibility to tell this jury, not you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Mrs. Detective Gaddis, I'm done with my cross-examination of you.
Okay.
I appreciate your answers today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samp. Mr. Jackman will redirect.
Detective Gaddis, Mr. Sam said we're 2 separate agencies. That's accurate, correct?
Yes, sir.
How often, well, let me ask you this. Do you work very closely with the DA's office?
Yes, we do.
What is the soonest you've called the DA after you've shown up to a crime scene?
Oh, within an hour. Absolutely.
And are we, as the prosecutors, involved in the investigation from the beginning?
Yes, sir.
Were you aware that prior to the search warrant, or are you aware if prior to the search warrant, Mr. Palal and I were already involved in this investigation?
Yes, you were.
And were you aware the determination or the decision that was made as it relates to Mr. Mogg, Detective Mogg, remaining the investigator on this case?
I don't know how those decisions were made.
Let me ask it this way. Are you aware that that decision was made the day he retires?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And your role and Sergeant DeCaro's role is if we needed a Metro police officer, you were supposed to assist.
Correct.
And do you have any active cases where the reports are not done?
Yes, sir.
And usually the report is done when all of the work is done.
Correct.
And so that's completed when you're done investigating.
Correct.
Mr. Samft also mentioned something about the fact that your job is to find the facts. Do you remember him saying something like that?
Yes.
Is your job and our job any different than that we're here to uncover facts?
We have the same mission. Do it in different ways, but yes, the same mission.
And are you aware that my investigators oftentimes interview witnesses?
Yes.
And that's not something that's unusual.
No.
Is there anything that you feel was improper with the idea of Detective Mogg becoming my contract investigator on this particular case?
Objection, Your Honor, is the opinion. I'm not quite clear what the relevance of that question is.
Well, his entire cross was, hey, this is really odd, this is really unusual, there's something wrong here by Detective Mogg becoming Mr. Mogg and continuing the investigation. So I'm asking her, in her experience, is there anything inappropriate about that?
I don't know how her experience is relevant.
He opened the door by asking her those questions.
Overruled.
I would say Detective Mogg would have been the best fit to do it because he had the most intelligence and knowledge of the investigation.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Anything further, Mr. Sam?
Yes, Your Honor. Since we walked through this door, so with regards to Detective Mogg in this case, he was the best fit for this investigation?
He had the most knowledge of it, yes.
He had the most knowledge of it because he did not write an officer's report. Fair?
Objection assumes a fact, not an evidence.
Can you approach? All right, it's overruled. You may ask your question.
And I just forgot the question, so let me back it up real quick here. So you're telling us, though, that he was the best for the job?
Yes.
Okay. And that at the time of his retirement in 2023, he was the best for the job?
He had the most knowledge of it, yes.
Yes, and he had the most knowledge of it because he was the primary detective on the case?
For the preceding several years, yes.
Yes. And when he retired, he did not have an officer's report?
I don't know if he did or didn't.
Well, I'm just based upon your knowledge, you're saying you don't know?
Yeah, I know. I've never actually read it. I don't know if he did.
So you don't know if he had an officer's report?
Correct.
And you say he was the best for the case, even though technically there were other detectives on your unit that could have taken over that case?
There are additional detectives, absolutely, yes.
And are you saying that somehow Detective Mogg had something different compared to all the other detectives that could have taken over that case from the homicide division?
Well, I say that about Detective Mogg because he had those 4 or 5 years of experience already invested into the case. So for him to kind of finish it out and to see it through, to me that made the most sense, in my opinion.
But without capturing it, putting it down on an officer's report?
Well, objection. She just answered she doesn't know if there is one.
Let me ask you this question. I'll withdraw the question. In terms of, as you sit here right now, there was a cold case unit, right?
Yes, we do. We have a cold case.
The cold case unit would investigate crimes that occurred, like say, for instance, in this case, 30 years ago?
Yes, I do.
And they could have very easily taken this file as well, right?
So from my understanding, when Detective Mogg obtained this case, we did not have a cold case unit in our section at that time. That didn't come into play until maybe 2020 that we were able to fulfill a cold case detectives.
Okay. And so in terms of the way you're describing it, are you saying that Detective Mogg was operating a cold case?
No. He was on an active squad for the entirety of his time in the homicide section. But when he received this case from the preceding detectives, we didn't have a cold case unit for them to have investigated it. So basically, any of the cold cases came down to the next person in line, more or less, and that happened to be Detective Mogg.
All right, and in terms of the Detective Mog situation, are you telling us though that he was hired by Metro as an investigator doing cold cases?
No, he was a detective with Metro, employed as a commissioned officer. He wasn't hired by Metro separately to do cold cases.
And I apologize for that, let me just back up here. So, are you aware of an officer, retired officer by the name of Dean O'Kelly?
Yes, sir.
And he at some point worked on cold cases?
Yes, he did.
And he worked on cold cases after he retired?
Correct.
And prior to that, he was actually a homicide detective?
Yes, sir.
So, and I apologize, maybe I wasn't clear on my question, but are you telling us that that's what Detective Morgan did in this case? That after he retired, he became an investigator, just like Dean O'Kelly, on cold cases?
Detective Mogg did not do that with Metro.
And once again, as you're sitting here right now, you don't know of any officer's report up until the time he retires?
That's correct.
Are you aware of any other reports that he wrote after he retired in this case?
No, sir.
Are you, and once again, any reports at all that would be put in the file to help the next detective with the investigation, anything like that?
I'm not aware of them.
I have no further questions, thank you.
Anything further, Mr. DiGiacomo?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Seeing no hands, thank you, Detective Gaddis. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Does it make sense to break for lunch at this time?
We have one short witness, but maybe we could do a restroom break and then break for lunch.
Does anyone in the jury have to use the restroom? Yes? Okay. All right. So we will take a break. During the recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any recorded or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or formal express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll have you guys back here at 11:40. Please rise for the jury.
All right, the first short recess of the day, day 7 of the Tupac Shakur murder trial, and a busy morning so far, Kyle. Quite a few witnesses.
Yes, I'm counting. We had a rapper, we had 2 crime scene analysts, and then we had a homicide detective. And there's Judge Carly Kearney presiding over the case against Duane Davis, accused of orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur. She says we're in recess, so we know she has no further dealings with the attorneys. So yes, we have to talk about those witnesses in turn. There was a lot there. Not the most, a little dry but still part of the story, and part of the story in Las Vegas, in our lifetimes, in modern day. So we'll get to all of that and more when we come back to cover the Tupac murder trial on 8 News Plus. Stay with us.
Day 7 of the Tupac Shakur murder trial. We are in our first break of the day. Thanks for joining us. I am Sasha Loftus here with Kyle Payne.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning,
it all blends
Sasha.
together, Kyle, especially for you. You've been living here.
Sasha, a very interesting day if you were finally ready to get done with those audio tapes
Yes.
we've been listening to up here on 8 News Plus for the last several days.
A lot of witness testimony this
right.
morning.
So we got some rhythm going, and we know from what the prosecutor said before the quick bathroom break that the jury needed to take that we have a short-lived witness coming up. And that you can add to the list of a rapper who was close with Tupac, who witnessed the murder, 2 crime scene analysts, and a homicide detective who sort of cataloged and gave a little bit of flavor to some of the items that were recovered in a 2023 search of Keffe D's home. Duane Davis, of course, charged with orchestrating the murder of Tupac Shakur, the iconic rapper, and Sasha, another rapper who went by the name Edie Amin, Malcolm. I think he said Greenwich. The judge called him Greenwich.
I
Malcolm,
heard Greenwich as well. So
Okay.
I think that's how you say it.
He said he knew Tupac. He was a childhood friend, a family member, said big brother, mentor, and he not only witnessed the case and said how the shooting and said how horrified he was.
Those were his exact words, that he was horrified.
Yes, but and he also one of several witnesses now who have come against their will, who have been ordered by, in this case, a California court to appear, and if not, you're liable to face some charges. And he testified. He was kind. I think you could tell he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But
he was cordial.
Yes,
He
it
was
didn't affect
respectful.
his testimony, and he was behind Tupac and Suge Knight. They talked about driving a Lexus, and he was in the Lexus with security. As you look at the bullet-riddled BMW that at one time carried the legendary rapper Tupac Shakur when he was shot in 1996 here in Las Vegas. So let's listen to him tell us in soundbite A what he saw.
While you're stopped at the lights on Flamingo and Koval, does something happen?
Yes.
Do you notice a vehicle pull up next to Mr. Shakur or Mr. Knight's vehicle?
Well, yeah.
Can you tell us what you see?
We were at a light. Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight was talking to some young ladies. We couldn't hear what they was talking about. When those young ladies pulled off, another car pulled up and started shooting at Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight.
And do you recall what kind of car that was?
It was a light-colored white Cadillac. The shots came from inside the vehicle.
And was it from the front or back seat?
It was from the back seat.
And did you see the arm or the gun or anything like that?
The arm and the gun attached to that arm.
And were you able to make an assessment of whether the person whose arm was out was white, Asian, Hispanic, or African American?
From my vantage point, they appeared to be African American.
What's your reaction when you see the shots?
I'm horrified.
So I think an interesting thing to point out is he mentioned that Tupac was talking to girls outside of the car when they were at the stoplight, which kind of goes along with Keffe D's account in his book that Tupac was leaning out of the car speaking to fans. It doesn't go along with that very first witness who was, or one of the first witnesses, I believe on the first day, who was in town and heard the gunshots. She said she did not see Tupac in the car. So that's kind of, or outside of the car. So I feel like that's kind of an interesting juxtaposition there.
All of that is true. And in 2008 era interviews with with law enforcement, where Keffe D was explaining what he knew about certain incidents under proffer, he said that, in fact, it was Tupac talking to those people, those ladies, where they were yelling, in Keffe's words, Tupac, Tupac, that it made them finally see him when they had been looking for him a little earlier in the evening. And they U-turned and they saw him. And Keffe D said in one of those interviews that if he hadn't been doing that, they never would have found him. They never would have shot him. So this rapper, Edie I Mean, Malcolm Greenidge, testifying also, after being horrified by seeing the gun, seeing the white Cadillac, seeing the gun come from the back seat. All of that is things that we believe are part of the prosecution's theory. This is the first person to actually say that they saw the Cadillac. We had somebody say that they saw a white four-door. That was the woman you were just talking about. We had another person say that they saw what they thought was a white Suburban. Now this is a white Cadillac.
But I think it was interesting, too, Michael Samft, his cross-examination was, I don't know if you want to call it subtle, but I think it was fairly subtle, where he recalled back to, kind of trying to poke holes, he recalled back to this witness's original testimony in 1996, where they said, what color was the Cadillac? And he said, apparently back in 1996, he said, it was light colored. I don't know if I'd say white, but it was light colored.
Sure.
So it was kind of, he said, when Michael Samft asked him that, he said, it's about the same thing I said. And I think he was trying to point out that there was just a subtle difference in his report from then versus now.
And lawyers worldwide will ask you a question about that and say, how is it possible that 30 years later your memory got better?
Yeah.
That now you remember it's white if at one point it was light colored. And, white has been in print and it's been said. So, that's interesting, something the jury would need to factor in when it comes to credibility. But then this witness, after the shooting and after that horrifying moment, got out of the car, and what happened next is unreal in letter B.
We started to get out of the car to go check on Tupac. And, that's what we did.
Do all of you make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car?
No.
Does anybody make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car? What happens?
Shook pulled off, made a U-turn.
Or do you guys follow them, or do you drive off someplace else?
No, we followed.
And that's why do you guys have to make a U-turn to follow them? Does Mr. Knight's car stop ultimately at an intersection?
It does.
What happened? Are you following him to that intersection?
You are.
What happens when you stop at that intersection?
We get out of the car to go check on Tupac.
And are you able to make it to Tupac's vehicle?
No.
Why not?
When we approached the car, Mr. Shakur said to me, get on the ground, they're going to shoot you. And when I turned around, it was a shotgun in my face.
And who was holding the shotgun?
Police officer.
So what do you do?
I got on the ground.
I would too.
Wow.
Yeah, a shotgun in my face from the police after a traumatic moment, watching your friend, your mentor, your coworker, said it was like a family member, watching Tupac shot, and then Tupac trying to save his friend, saying, get down, or maybe you'll get shot. And so we're looking live at the after recess. Now we're in the later morning session of day 7 of Nevada versus Duane Keffe D. Davis on trial for orchestrating the murder of the rap legend Tupac Shakur on 8 News Plus. We're going to be here with wall-to-wall coverage the entire day. The lunch break should be coming up in the next hour and a half, and Sasha Loftus and I will be here with you to talk about the entire day. We only just got to the beginning of what has been an interesting, fast-moving day full of witnesses, and there should be another here within a few moments, Sasha.
Yes, so stay with us for sure. It looked like they just rose for either the judge or the jury coming in. No audio yet, it appears.
Okay, so
so we can chat.
We've got a moment. Good.
Here.
We haven't talked in a while. It's nice to see you.
So nice to see you.
We want to remind you that on 8 News Plus, where we've been doing this wall-to-wall coverage now for we're well into the second week. We call it day 7, but earlier I wanted to switch it up and I called it day 2 of week 2.
Oh, there you go.
Here at the Tupac murder trial, and Sasha and I will be joined tonight at 7 p.m. by Vanessa Murphy on our wrap-up show. 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy is in the courtroom. You can see her every day sitting in the same seat in the second row. She has a second row seat to today, Vanessa reported that there were no seats in the courtroom. Every
so that's
courtroom was full.
interesting.
And I mean, every seat was full.
That is interesting because it did thin out there for a second. And so
Yes.
now it's kind of ramping up again. Also important to note, she's live tweeting this entire thing.
Oh, her tweets are good.
Yes, they're great. We have that on our website, 8newsnow.com. You can see that live blog, or you can also just visit her Twitter. It's at Vanessa_Murphy.
So there's Duane Davis. The thing we didn't talk about, that we didn't get to after the rapper spoke, and we have more to talk about with him as well, was two crime scene analysts and a homicide detective talking about a search in 1997 and a search in 2023, right before Keffe D got arrested, and the contents of that search, the fruits of that search, if you will, and cross-examination to try and discredit a little bit what the point of any of that was. And that was a search. They found that magazine in the house next to the books that we've discussed, Compton Legend by Keffe D,
Also
and
some newspaper clippings.
Murder Rap. Yes, well, I think the newspaper clippings may have been. I don't know if the newspaper clippings were in the first one or the second one. I need to clarify that. But yes, they found newspaper clippings, many discussing the murder and the aftermath and the investigation. That is inside Keffe D's Henderson home here in Nevada, here in southern Nevada. And
We have audio? All right, let's go ahead. Listen in.
Seated. Anything else we need to discuss on that issue?
Not from the state. Hang on.
Anything we need to discuss outside the presence?
Not from the state. Hang on.
All right, we'll get the jurors lined up. And who is the witness that we're going to do next?
Mark Hatt.
Mark Hatt.
Yeah, he's a firearms person.
Okay.
So he should be short.
so you heard Prosecutor Mark DiGiacomo introducing to the judge the name of the next witness. He's a firearms expert. The jury is getting lined up from the jury room, and the next time everybody stands, it will be because
The jury is
entering the
You
room.
had said there were 6 witnesses you wanted to get on?
Judge Carly Kearney there.
So the 6th is in the afternoon. Understood. Okay.
So they're talking about what's going to be in the afternoon. So the afternoon, it sounds like we'll have what I think will be one long witness.
Yeah. So this, I believe, is the next or the last one before the lunch break.
Oh.
From what I understand.
Okay.
I could be incorrect.
You can multitask. I could not talk and listen. I don't know how you did that, but she said that after the lunch break, we'll hear from the other person.
Yeah, so she said the 6th. So this would be the 5th coming up.
I'm counting.
Yeah, I believe, because we've had 4 so far this morning. So
Yes,
one
we had.
more before the lunch break, and then we should have a 6th in the afternoon.
And
All right, here.
as the jury enters the room, I don't expect this witness to be on for very long, because that's what the prosecutor said before the bathroom break, the short recess in the mid-morning. So if it's, 11:44 here in Nevada at this time, on day 7 of testimony, we may be back here joining you rather quickly for the lunch and recess. We have a lot to get to, and as you say, quite a few witnesses compared to what we're used to seeing in this trial, because the jury had spent so much time listening to audio testimony. So everyone is seated. They're calling the first witness to firearms expert, and we will see you the next time there's a break in the action. Thank you for watching on 8 News Plus. I'm Kyle Payne for Sasha Loftus. See you soon.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may have a seat.
Thank you.
Sir, if you please state your full name and then spell it for the record.
Mark Hatton, MarkHatten.
Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hatton, how are you employed?
I'm currently a police officer with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I was hired in 2007. I also worked as a NIBIN technician within the firearms unit of the forensic laboratory at the Metro Forensic Lab for 7 years, from 2018 until 2025.
Can you tell us what NIBIN is?
Yes, NIBIN stands for the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. It's a program that's overseen by the federal agency, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, otherwise known as the ATF. And this is a technology that contains hardware and software that takes high-resolution 2D and 3D images of a cartridge case that has been fired, or a cartridge, excuse me, that has been fired out of the firearm. It looks specifically at the head stamp area, and I also brought a model with me of a cartridge if the court will allow me to use this, and I could also pass this around to the jury so you can get a closer look and see exactly and understand what NIBIN is looking at.
Mr. Hatton, you're getting a little ahead of me, but let's go. I know, it's funny. I was going to ask you, what is a cartridge case?
Cartridge case, it's what this is called is a cartridge, and once it's fired, the bullet gets projected out of the barrel, and the cartridge case gets ejected from the firearm, and basically it contains all the components of a cartridge, including the bullet, the cartridge case. Can I use
Yes,
them?
and so it appears you brought a demonstrative. Your Honor made the witness use the demonstrative for the purposes of explaining it to the jury.
Is it the two? Yeah, okay, yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so during the firing process, when somebody pulls the trigger, this bullet will project out of the barrel, and this is the cartridge case. This is the head stamp area. It can be stamped with the manufacturer of the ammunition as well as the caliber, and this is the what NIBIN looks at, specifically the primer area, which contains a small explosive that ignites the gunpowder within the cartridge case.
And then on the back of the cartridge, you had mentioned that, or the cartridge case, you had mentioned that the strike that causes the explosion to expunge the bullet, is that strike unique or something that you look at in determining whether or not a cartridge has been fired from the same gun?
Yes, it's unique because during the manufacturing process of the firearm, it has tooling marks and it's hardened steel. This metal is soft, so this comes out at very high velocity. So when that slams into the firearm, it imparts its unique markings from that tooling process directly onto the cartridge case.
Now, I'm going to direct your attention to case number 960907-2063, where you asked to do some work on that case.
Yes, I was.
And is it fair to say that, and the jury's already heard this and they've been received in evidence, that 7 cartridge cases with a head stamp of 140 S&W were recovered from that scene?
That's correct.
And then initially, when this case first occurred in 1996, they were run through the database that existed in 1996. Is that fair to say?
Not in 1996, it was in 2003 because NIBIN was not created. It was a program called DrugFire, and NIBIN actually was implemented in 1997, but of course it takes time to build up the database, so it really wasn't the database wasn't built up until about the early 2000s. So that's when they actually initially entered this cartridge case into the NIBIN system.
So in 1996, it was DrugFire, and then in 2003, it was re-entered into NIBIN. Is that fair to say?
I don't have any knowledge if this was entered into DrugFire.
So we'll focus on 2003, the NIBIN entry. Did the cartridges used in this particular cartridge cases collected in this case match any other cartridge cases that were entered into NIBIN back in 2003?
They did not.
Did they match any other firearm that was recovered by 2003?
They did not.
Now, in 2023, were you asked to re-enter these cartridge cases or re-examine them within the NIBIN system?
Yes, I was.
And that request, I think, was made by Mark DiGiacomo.
Yes, it was.
And had technology changed between 2003 and 2023?
Yes, so that 20-year period, yes, the cameras and the resolution has definitely improved over that 20-year time frame.
And is it also fair to say that probably in the intervening 20 years, more cartridge cases and more firearms have been entered into the NIBIN system?
Yes, it's the gold standard of that type of ballistics. So everybody uses it now, and yes, there's millions of images in the database.
And did you actually conduct the? Did you actually look into NIBIN to see whether or not this cartridge case matched any other cartridge case that was entered into NIBIN?
Yes, I entered it into NIBIN myself, and we did a nationwide search, and it looked throughout the entire country. And then the NIBIN results had no associations other to the original entry from 2003.
So what you learned from NIBIN is when you entered the cartridge in 2003, it matched the cartridge you entered in 2023.
That's correct.
But nationwide, it did not match any other cartridge case that had been previously entered into NIBIN.
No, it did not.
Steel pass.
Anything, sorry, cross-examination, Mr. Sam?
Sir, the things that, did you actually look at the actual cartridge casings themselves?
Yes, I looked all 7 side by side, and I screened them and then grouped them into one grouping, which represents one firearm.
All right, and as far as you recall or understand that the cartridge casings were located at one scene, not multiple scenes?
I didn't look into the case notes. That's to try to keep our distance. We don't do any investigative work at the lab, so we don't want to bias our mind to what was. So I did not review any of the crime scene photos, any of the diagrams. I do not know. All I know is I have 7 cartridge cases. How do they group, and which ones to enter?
Okay, and so out of the 7, all of them look like they were fired from the same firearm?
Yes, they had similar visual characteristics, and I entered one, which I assigned as lab item 1.
I see. So no one of them was different, like indicating maybe another gun was used. All of them were from the same gun.
That's correct.
Right. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further, State?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from our jurors? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Hatton. You are free to go. You are
Thank you, Your Honor.
excused. That was our short witness before the lunch break?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sounds good. So at this time, we are going to take our lunch break. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll have you guys back here at 1 p.m. for further testimony. Please rise for the jury. For the record, the jury has exited the room. Anything we need to address outside the presence?
Yes, Your Honor. So we're going to have Robert Ladd testify at whenever we come back in.
Okay, you can all be seated.
And there was this outstanding issue during our gang motion about the term shot caller. Now, in the interim, we found that Mr. Davis refers to himself as the shot caller in the book. I don't know that that was pointed out. I had not realized that at the time of that motion, so I certainly failed to point that out. But at this point, the state's going to be asking that we allow Mr. Ladd to use that term. When I pre-trialed him last night, I told him he is not allowed to use it unless the court gives a go-ahead, so he's aware of that prohibition. But I think
Was the idea that he was going to be the one to lay the foundation, that he was the shot caller, that
Yes.
allegedly Keffe D
Yes.
was the shot caller?
Yes.
So we can use that term and attempt to lay the foundation, and then I guess we can just, at some point, you can approach and say, has that been conclusively established or something?
Okay, so I just want to know the
going
mechanism. So I'm not going to have him say it at all, and then I will try and lay the general gang foundation, and then I'll lie the foundation for Mr. Davis's role within the gang, and at that point, I'll probably just ask to approach out of an abundance of caution, and then see if the foundation's involved.
Does that work for you, Mr. Sampt?
It does, Your Honor. I do have one for the housekeeping matter for the shot caller issue.
Yes.
Okay.
The other issue is that we're asking the court to see if we could just exclude putting on the record or publishing to everybody the addresses of my clients in terms of where his family still lives today in Compton. So if we're going to talk about a location, that we just use maybe the street name, something like that, to differentiate between the two.
that's appropriate, for the, not to give the exact address.
So can we?
You
So
can say like the
without giving
3600 block,
Can
maybe?
I think it's a little complicated because there's a 1405 and a 4. There's two houses on the same block, and so I think if Mr. Sam doesn't object to us just saying that on the search warrants it's listed as Mr. Davis's house without giving the actual address, or Mr. Anderson's or Miss Anderson's house without giving the actual address, I'm happy to do that. Like, I'm not trying to cause any problems. It's just that I don't want the vagary used against us.
Sure. Would that compromise work for your purposes?
Yes, Your Honor, because I think that's all we're asking, is just if we just refer to who the house is. That's fine.
The exhibits themselves that will be admitted list the actual address, but we won't display those portions of the exhibits publicly if that helps.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Yes,
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else on that vein, Mr. Sanford?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else we need to address in general? Hearing nothing, we'll be in recess. Thanks, guys.
When are we coming back to
1 o'clock.
All right, looking at the Great Seal of the state of Nevada, we are officially on lunch break for day 7, or as you were saying, Kyle, day 2 of week 2
Yes.
of the Duane Keffe D. Davis murder trial.
There at lunch. We are streaming here on 8 News Plus for the entirety of the lunch break, which should last another hour plus. So we were just with you during a bathroom break, a mid-morning break, and the prosecutor did say, my next witness is short. Can we just do that and then go? And he really meant that was a short
very
witness.
short.
But the judge, has very much has to make sure that the jury is cared for and ask them if anybody needed to use the bathroom. Somebody said yes. So they did that exercise. They went. We took a mid-morning break. They came back. We heard from a firearms analyst. I believe his testimony was meant to show that they did in fact find 7 bullets that another detective, a cold case detective, showed, and that they all came from the same gun at that scene. I don't see any other reason for him to have come, and that's why his testimony was so short. But if you watch the morning, you know that it began with a rapper who was associated with Tupac Shakur, who referred to him as a childhood friend, a family member, a big brother, a mentor, and he eventually became successful enough to perform with Tupac in The Outlaws. Of course, Duane Davis, Keffe D, accused of orchestrating the murder of the rap icon Tupac Shakur, and he testified to a few things, and it was dramatic testimony for no other reason than he came unwillingly.
Yeah. But he was a lot more cordial and respectful.
We've
and
seen some.
he cooperated, as opposed to there have been a couple witnesses that it hasn't seemed that way.
Right. Some of the ones that, well, first of all, some of the ones that have come unwillingly have still been fine.
Because there have been
One
quite a few.
who came willingly was acted like he didn't want to be there, but he was not compelled. That documentarian who testified yesterday. Anyway, this rapper, Edie, he goes by or went by, to go by him or went by him. He goes by Edie Amin. And he discussed the horror of watching Tupac Shakur get shot while he was in a Lexus behind the now very famous black BMW that was riddled with bullets. And that is soundbite A.
While you're stopped at the lights on Flamingo and Koval, does something happen?
Yes.
Do you notice a vehicle pull up next to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's vehicle?
Well, yeah.
Can you tell us what you see?
We were at a light. Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight was talking to some young ladies. We couldn't hear what they was talking about. When those young ladies pulled off, another car pulled up and started shooting at Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight.
And do you recall what kind of car that was?
It was a light-colored white Cadillac. The shots came from inside the vehicle.
And was it from the front or back seat?
It was from the back seat.
And did you see the arm or the gun or anything like that?
The arm and the gun attached to that arm.
And were you able to make an assessment of whether the person whose arm was out was white, Asian, Hispanic, or African American. In
From
terms
my vantage point, they appeared to be African American.
What's your reaction when you see the shots?
I'm horrified.
So important to note that some of his testimony does kind of corroborate what Keffe D talked about in his book, the way that he described it all happening.
Yes, in his book, well, there's differing degrees of differing stories that Keffe D told. One of them in his book, and then another in 2008 era interviews with law enforcement. He says that was what was going on. Tupac was hanging out at his BMW, talking with fans. In the interview with law enforcement, he says that had he not been doing that, they never would have been able to see him and never would have made a U-turn and never would have pulled up next to him. But the details that come from this are chilling. He saw the arm come out of the car. He saw the gun attached to that arm. From his vantage point, he said it was an African-American arm. He said that he saw a white, light-colored Cadillac. That is, I think, the closest eyewitness testimony to seeing what we believe was Keffe D's rental car.
The description of Cadillac. I feel like all the other witnesses just said a light-colored car, a light-colored sedan. So, yeah, to actually hear the word Cadillac from a witness, I think is new.
And, that's, the Cadillac is part of the prosecutor's theory of the case, that's what they were driving. Of course, yesterday we heard that the Cadillac Keffe D told someone got painted. There's just a lot of details. Some of the stories are overwhelmingly the same, but then key details are different, or they're missing from one story, or they're not in another story. The police response to this shooting seems to have been strong afterwards, understandably. And this Idi Amin Malcolm Greenwich was in the vicinity right there when the aftermath occurred. He was able to communicate with Tupac Shakur, probably one of the last people to actually hear him say words. And so when he got out of the car and went over to talk and render aid to his friend, this is what happened in soundbite B.
We started to get out of the car to go check on Tupac. And, that's what we did.
Do all of you make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car?
No.
Does anybody make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car? What happens?
Suge pulled off, made a U-turn.
Or do you guys follow them, or do you drive off someplace else?
No, we followed them.
And that's why do you guys have to make a U-turn to follow them? Does Mr. Knight's car stop ultimately at an intersection?
It does.
What happened? Are you following him to that intersection?
You are.
What happens when you stop at that intersection?
We get out of the car to go check on Tupac.
And are you able to make it to Tupac's vehicle?
No.
Why not?
When we approached the car, Mr. Shakur said to me, get on the ground, they're going to shoot you. And when I turned around, it was a shotgun in my face.
And who was holding the shotgun?
Police officer.
So what do you do?
I got on the ground.
Again, chilling testimony there from another rapper that was close friends with Tupac Shakur and was there, witnessed this all happening from a car behind. So, Kyle, we, of course, have a lot more to get to, but we are going to take a quick break first.
All right. Well, this is no regular break. So what happens here, you're watching us on 8 News Plus, but you're lucky enough, some of you, to be watching us on YouTube. And like we did yesterday, we're going to try and wean you off of and onto our 8 News Plus free streaming app, on which you can watch us cover this trial all month long, every minute of it. If there's a break, it's me and Sasha. At 7 p.m., you will get Sasha, Vanessa, and me inside this studio discussing the day's events. But for now, when we come back from this break, our YouTube viewers, hopefully you will join us on 8 News Plus, because we're really watching closely, and it's fascinating testimony in the Tupac murder trial, Nevada versus Duane Keffe D. Davis, accused of orchestrating the murder of the rap icon. So when we go to break, those of you on YouTube will see a very entertaining but also informative commercial on how to download the free app, available on most smart TVs. And we will see all of you back here on 8 News Plus on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
That'll do it for today's show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
No, I missed it.
Have no fear. JC Fernandez is here.
How did you get in here?
Not important. But missing the news is, there's a new way to watch 8 News Now with even more exclusive content. Just open your smart TV's app store and search for 8 News Plus. Once you're in, you can stream Las Vegas Now, Good Day Las Vegas, and every 8 News Now broadcast. Plus, we've got original streaming shows that take you deeper into our investigative reports, the growing local sports scene, and the unexplained on Mystery Wire with George Knapp. Getting started is that easy. Now you can replay all of your favorite moments.
So I can rewatch all of my favorite moments?
Exactly. And it's completely free.
It's in my ear. Woof woof.
Visit 8newsnow.com to learn more.